Chair, as I had indicated in my previous appearance shortly yesterday, was that this is the ministry that in 5 years there was a lot of rationalization with regard to the functions and the departments that were in before it became what it is now. It then happened that the preparation of the documents with respect to accounts was coming from the earlier during that time, because we are counting the accounting period here. The period under review is 2021, 2022. That was the time when she was there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Is this how it is done, technical advisor?
Accounting officer. So I wrote to say the financials.
Okay. If you see no wrong, then we shall proceed. We proceed by way of you taking oath, accounting officer. Take oath on your second installment of the examinations in 2 days. I know you are comfortable with the word installment.
It's just that I'm imagining what will follow thereafter.
After the installment. You follow me, accounting officer. I
rule Jimmy Opelo.
Swear by Almighty God.
Swear by Almighty God.
That the evidence I shall give.
That the evidence I shall give.
Before this committee of parliament.
Before this committee of parliament.
Shall be the truth.
Shall be the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing else but the truth.
And nothing else but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Financial controller. Or financial accountant. Or chief accountant. Yeah, chief accountant. Chief accountant. I,
Bernadette Sipuping Smakoko,
swear by Almighty God.
Swear by Almighty God.
That the evidence I shall give.
That the evidence I shall give.
Before this committee of parliament.
Before this committee of parliament.
Shall be the truth.
Shall be the truth.
Nothing else but the truth.
Nothing else but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. And you are coming for the examinations, accounting officer, for a second day in a row. And you had indicated to me that you are going for cabinet. Did you have a good day there?
Chair, it has been a long day for me.
It has been a long day.
But we are here. I think we can continue.
We can continue.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we continue, you remember yesterday when you were here, you promised to deliver a letter that shall circulate to all your stations about the issue of dual citizenship. I had asked then that when you come to this meeting, and you promised then that you will deliver the letter. Can I have the letter, please?
I promised, Chair, and I'll just do that. In fact, I've got two things in addition to the letter, which I think are necessary for this occasion.
Okay.
I have the letter here, as requested.
Tabo.
That indicates and communicates to the districts the position that we have taken with regard to how people should be assisted in terms of dealing with those people who would like to effect the implementation of citizenship, amendment of Citizenship Act. So here is the letter. Okay. I also say, with your indulgence, we did promise that, or rather I did promise that one of the things we need to do at the case of a particular individual who was owing government in the name of Neo Mate Mosheshe, 647,000 initially. I want to submit to you the update with respect to that, because I felt that immediately after that I need to go and look for the information. The information I'll give in to you, say, is the information to the effect that indeed the matter was reported to the police, and there's evidence to that effect. The matter was actually also investigated by the DCC. There's also a correspondence between the ministry with respect to this matter to the Accountant General. Yes. And so I wish to, and the communication from DCC with respect to the sort of information that we're looking for. So
Okay.
please, if you may. I also want very quickly
Yes.
to give a summary of the cases that we have dealt with, some of which may be closed, but not necessarily, rather cleared, but not closed because they appeared immediately after the last appearance.
Is that from yesterday?
Sorry?
Is that from yesterday or today's report?
No, it's for today.
Yeah,
It's different.
before today, let me thank you.
Thank you.
Let me thank you for honoring your promise.
Thank you.
You have delivered the letter. I have no doubt that the content is what we are looking for. O tiste le kwalo ha le re dumelang gore le tabo le circulate ko dikgaolong tsotlhe tsa gago tsa dikgaolo tsotlhe tse lo di na le lephata la gago. Thank you very much. Dikgaolo tsotlhe tse di tabong di le ka hata sa gago gore yaanong batho ba e leng gore ba na le botsadi jwa mahatshe a mabedi ba simolole go thuswa. Tumelo ya rona ke gore ha go setse go ntse jalo morago ga beke tse pedi re tabo re simolola go bona di-report tsa go supa gore batho ba thuswa mme a gona ope o ka claima gore ga ana authority ya go thusa. Ke batla go lebogela sone se gore o dirile jaaka o sologeditse maiteko ona a gago a tilo go ungwela batho ba bantsi ba bantseng ba sokola tota ba sokotswa ke gone gore ba na le matso a mabedi ka jalo ba ne ba tshela ba le mo tseleng ya go batla go baakanya seemo sa bone ba bangwe ba tla kgona go bona bomang ba tla kgona go bona ditiro ka one mabaka a lekwalo leo le kwalelang di-station. I just wish bangwe le bangwe ba re dirang le bone ba ka nna prompt yaka o dirile re leboga thata. I think members ke tsa gore go a tshwanela gore re leboga rraetsho ka kutiso ya gore tsa di kwadileng ke tsone tse re di dumalaneng maybe la kena pegelo epe ya gore o ka kwala tse re sa di dumalanang mme ke seo se se tona thata seo se dirile rraetsho mare re go leboge re opelo re go leboga go menagane tswalela hela o bereke le rona ka tsela ntseng jalo re bereke le batswana re thuse batswana motho etsho kutlwa gore o tlisitse evidence gape ka motho yo le o kolotang puso madi a mantsintsi le gone gore kgang ye wa kgona go investigate wa lemoga gore ko police ebile gape le ba DCC ba ne ba tsena mo go yone ke re this is the kind of promptness that we require moving forward and we profusely thank you for your efforts. Me ke tsa gore re ka tsena mo dikganyeng tsa letsatsi la gompieno kgotsa ke go neele Raitso in view of this. Do you want to say a word or two, Honorable Pologolo, before we go into that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I'm actually very happy that he did.
Yeah, I think the contents, the address as well as and Cebu.
Yeah.
Perhaps the one issue that has not been made, I mean, the PS is not, or is not willing to go into Gal or Rolwan.
Oh, okay.
Le Racita.
Okay. I think we will engage further on that one. It's your closeness to Lorwan. E ka dira gore gantelano gore se dira ha re tetse le ha tselothe ra tlhaloganya Raitso. Ne Raitso o ka tswella ka pego ya tsatsi eno ga gona le ope o batlang go akgala mo go seo se dirileng tsatsi eno o tla akgala ntse re bua ka report ya tsatsi eno.
Thank you so much.
Executive summary, sir.
Thank you so much, Chair, and I would like to thank you also back with respect to realizing how much effort and energy we have put into this. And I think this is the kind of relationship and collectiveness of doing work which I always aspire, even with my juniors. And I think everybody else that we collaborate will really make sure that we take this country forward. Chair, With respect to yesterday, I did made some understanding that with respect to yesterday's report, we were concentrating mainly on the issues that are relevant to, by then, the immigration, civil registration, citizenship, literacy and heritage in terms of libraries and archives, etc., which are mainly called Home Affairs. But I also underline the fact that those were basically what we call events, the life events that we are dealing with. In that, in terms of civil and registration, which is the bigger one of all of them, not necessarily the most important, but the bigger one, is that one of our mandates is to make sure we track the life of a Motswana from the date when you are born, where you give your birth certificate, and you get to a point where you come out of age and you can then register for Omang, and there is time then at some stage those who will wish to marry, then you get married, we issue certificate, and the last time we meet again is when you die, and I think it's polite, when you leave this world, we then have to issue another certificate in terms of death certificate. So that's why we mean the life events of a complete individual. That's what they're referring to. And we take that very, very serious. Yesterday, you were concerned about data management. We make sure that such a data is kept properly. But today, we will be focusing mainly on issues of employment, issues of labor, issues of productivity and competitiveness, as well as the general work ethic, which is a concern to the development of this country. So I would want to, first of all, in that respect, talk to the mandate under the circumstances. You will recall, sir, that we're talking of the Minister of Education, Labor and Skills Development. That is what it was then. So a lot of work was centered around developing people for the place of work in terms of vocational training, developing vocational skills, and then issues of safety at the workplace, labor issues, and work ethic, as I mentioned. If I go to the pages here, page 1, page 2 is all about the budget that we're given and how much of that we utilized. But I think most importantly, what we should run through very quickly is the fact that this was the time when standards in terms of education was coming into play in a bigger way. And so we achieved the registration under the BQA of the education training providers. We also had 88 qualifications of the levels, if you remember those levels that were supposed to be qualified, mainly in the blue-collar job, let me put them that way. And then we accredited the 55 new qualifications through the learning centers. Despite this, like I said, even yesterday, there are a couple of challenges that we faced. One of the things was that we had a problem with the functional structures. There were unclear organizational structures. There were also a shortage of staff, especially in the teaching profession, mainly for particular areas like counseling. But although we're trying to standardize things, we had issues with regard to prolonged feedback from the BQA in terms of accreditation of qualifications and institutions. But to address those deficiencies, we improved the organizational structure in the learning institutions and rationalized as much as possible so that there are people at any time. The other issue I would like to talk to was which is still very much taking place because of the long consultative process in the review of the laws and the policies, whereby the issue with regard to consolidation of the Employment Act, the Trade Dispute Act, the Trade Unions, and the Employers Organization Act. And to an extent, that goes together with this one's Public Service Act. It was necessary, sir, because if you know one of the problems that we faced is Melawel is aged. You know, in today's world, while we want to close the gaps and control issues of either education or skills development, Kamela was 60-something. It doesn't really add up because, you know, these things are very much dynamic. The other thing I would like to talk to, which is already there, maybe you can have a look, it complies to the labor laws. As much as possible, there is compliance, but there will always be areas where the compliance is not satisfactory. But the fact of the matter is that, yes, we did it, and we continuously strive to get it right. The issue of decent work is primary here, because that was the period when it started, where the issues of safety at work, the issues of making sure that the labor laws and administration of it are in such a way that it helps the function and deliver that which we had desired for. And that's one thing that we did, although it's continuing. The health and safety aspect I talked to in terms of inspectorate and issue of compensation arising from issues of labor or issues of work. These are some of the things that we're dealing with. Chairman, it was necessary that we should talk to you about the number of compensation and the amounts that NRI hitelela. There was a total of 152 compensation cases that were made, and the total payment to that was in the range of 10.5 million. So while the compensation benefits might be not necessarily that high, but the fact of the matter is that at least if people had some issues to settle in terms of compensation, that was catered for. And of course, some delays were delays in processing such compensations and the dispute because of the, sometimes it has to do with the resource availability. That was not sufficient to cover the large areas that would have desired to. There was also COVID-19 issues, and one might say COVID-19 problems went up to 2021, early 2021, but then we are reporting after that. There were disruptions that had to be attended to immediately after that. For instance, in terms of mediators who are dealing with our dispute cases out there, some of them now, because of longer period, they were either not by then now having the proper qualifications, they had to go through the training and other things. And some of them, they had also left the profession, and some of them were not ready for some other reason, because during the COVID, people made some alternatives. And so we sort of, it sort of pushed us step or two back. So this is what we are saying. But we regrouped, found out our footing, and got back and ran with it. But the most important thing that I would like to talk to, which we are still working with, is the reforms with regard to how we do business and making easy of business, doing business, in terms of automating the labor administration processes and strengthening our collaboration with strategic partners, like in the ILO, I did talk that, and the IOM, that they've been helping us. So, you know, and the issue of social dialogue with our social partners in the form of tripartite was revived in a bigger way than it was ever before. The regional assistance and partners I did mention yesterday, they are still the same group: ILO, IOM, SADC, RLAC. So that's basically what I had wanted to share with yourselves. We have also made some commitment in terms of making sure that we prioritize some of the conventions under the ILO which are necessary for ratification, like the C155, which talks to the occupational health and safety, and then also the C190, violence and harassment in the workplace. We made some commitment. We have not as yet finalized in the processes, but the fact that we made such recognition and prioritized them, thinks we care about the labor force of this country. So I want to stop here in terms of the world of work that we deal with as far as the ministry mandate is concerned. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, it's time to engage. We'll start from my left this time around. Honourable Lesedi.
Thank you, Chairman. Dumela Accounting Officer le team ya gago. Accounting Officer, go na le kgang ya di office tsa lona bogolo jang tse di ko di district tsa labor offices tse leng gore before COVID ne re bona baikopedi ba ditiro e le gore la ba lista ko di-officing tse bo ba ya every morning gore ga gona le bangwe ba ba ka bong ba thoka bo ba le gautshwane. But in a morago ga COVID ra bona seo se se emisiwa. Me, I understand in some areas kana in some other villages go lebega go iragala mme gongwe ko dikgaolong tse re tswang ko go tsone go sa iragale. Ke batla go itse gore a mme go boa mmaaruri mme a le gore go boa mmaaruri ko mahelong a go sa iragaleng teng ke ka gore. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable. As far as I know, I'm with the Commissioner of Labour here. She may come in on that one. But we had never stopped the registration of people who are looking for employment in our respective areas. What I do know had come as a problem is that, remember, after COVID, a lot of companies had sort of winded up. So there wasn't a lot of immediate activity following that. So it could be a question of, people kept on going there, but eventually it wasn't as busy as before. So, I mean, this is the answer, but otherwise my reference point also is here is the Commissioner of Labour, who may know more than that. But we haven't really closed in any area where we did some activities. We rationalized people, or we might have been also the issue of because everything sort of went down and compared the pre-COVID period, then even the staff also maybe was not as many as it was before then. But in terms of closing and saying we're winding up here, that never really took place.
No, it's not emisa go register, but go emisa gore go follow jaaka go nontse go ete go follow teng ko labor offices. Ke sone se Batswana mo nako ya gompieno ba ipelaetsang gore in some areas bone ba dumela gore batho ba bang go fola ba le ko ba nna le opportunity ya gore ga gona le bangwe ba ba tsayang ba ba thokang bo ba tsaya ba le gautshwane go na le gore go ta letswa. In fact gongwe go hella go sa letswa ke gone hela mo Batswana ba ipelaetsang ka gone ne ba re le tota ke kopana nna o teng ke go botse potso.
We are ready and prepared to Botswana kana we are here to serve Botswana. But if we made some intervention in some areas which are not enabling people or making ease of doing business than before, we are ready to improve from the comments or the suggestions that come from members of the public. I do know in some instances, because of the reasons I've advanced, so that we can process that which we have. So maybe those are the kind of things that sort of disrupted and maybe was not communicated properly. But we still do, but we will engage and see whether we could get every station up to the pre-COVID levels.
Yeah, sorry. I can't me okay when I le register and batho code of sin salona, which is somewhat automated to register and then I go back to your moto. Check on the list here. Hasore ne ya go follow by replace to you.
If you allow, say, is it possible I can allow my commissioner to assist on?
No, he's not on oath, but these are, I think, stuff that you should know from the top of your head.
What I'm trying to say is that there have never been any arrangement which is not similar to what we did before. Safe to say there was less activity compared to the pre-COVID period.
You can pass him a note, it's allowed, but in terms of what are you currently doing, because we don't see people at your labor offices queuing up to maybe get possible employment, because we were under the thinking that maybe but by Kwadisa and then Lonale Voletale level by Kwadisitting Leba Somajalo Ditiro Rita Wundilete. That is what one was thinking, that whatever I get to carry how we charge.
Me She'll pass the paper if it is a different. What I was trying to say, Kana, you will recall also, Chair, there was also some form of trying to be very careful in gathering immediately after that situation. So what people used to do is nearly similar to what actually people do. And then, you know, if the officer, the number that is there for that day is sufficient to deal with, we will move on with the other number the next day. It wasn't really to scare people or to take them away, to stop them from coming. No, that was never the case.
I
nya ga go e listen mme ke tsa gore accounting officer wa utlwa gore ya ka ena a araba ko do sintse ano go thelelelele ga go sa thogo wa go iwa teng wa go khiwa ga go letelesege ba dela gore ke yone kgang go eng ka arabang ka teng gore gore se mo sa ba sele thoko then ha ile gore ke kgang gongwe batho ba boele gape ba fole ka gore bona bana problem wa go thola ko ka gore ba dumela gore ha ba sa thola ko o ta tudisa list ye matho o boa go founela o rao phelo ka gore o dumela gore manonga ka ja ka lesika.
Senator, in addition to what I've just said, which is confirmed by my Commissioner Kore, there was also, once the Labour Market Observatory started working, people now had different points also of registry. So that could have led to people believing, some people believing, it's just a question of, because now there are a number of platforms, unlike when the resort from 6 o'clock in the morning, but 2, that situation is not necessarily there because it has been reduced because of this other alternative options. But it does take place.
Okay, we can move on to another.
Yeah, me go tweets but tsana bona ba reditse gore re ta simolla go ba bona ko di office tsa lona ka di lines me tota accounting officer ne ke batla gore ke re go lebega lena le di court judgment between yourself and babereki ba gago ke dumela gore gona le judgment e leng gore e ne supa gore o tshwantse ga implement the scheme of service ke batla go eneng tota hela go phelong ya letsatsi go dumelesega gore le compensation e tabe di dirilwe to your employees by the 31st March 2025 ke batla go itse gore o go bokgakala bokae a o no a khona go implementa ka your ministry or what is happening now.
Sorry, Chair, the issues that we have with respect to what the Honourable MP is raising here, they were mainly some multiple grading, C grade. We had entered into some agreement with the respective unions. At the time when the judgment had declared they should be or given judgment on those that they should be paid, we didn't have enough budget. So we then sat down and agreed, because we don't have enough budget, we must put in place a payment plan. And we all signed for that payment plan. So there are some people who went into the first bracket of the payment plan, and there are some people who haven't been paid as yet. But this is the agreement that we reached with our representatives. And this communication has also been made to the respective people who haven't received their dues as yet.
Payment plan router in a lower batavata duela helajalo ka du kwetsi harlo gani me go lebega gore gona le ba duetsweng me payment plan e o ka re ga ya ona riwa gore lo re motho ke nnete lo rile o ta go duela 50,000 go duela bokana go duela bokana go le duela ntla ya la o tso bolema was that an indication ya gore
no, and as far as payment plan is concerned, which was agreed by parties, there is nowhere the only other thing might have been the actual date that we had pushed forward. And that happened because between us, them, the union representative, the employee representatives and ourselves, there were some calculation errors that we all agreed calculate the way, because we had the terms of what aspect goes into the payment here. And we have agreed that we all prepare, and we have a neutral person, and then it's paid. But situations where the delayed payment, which is normally maybe a month or so, was basically caused by the back and forth of the errors in the calculation.
Okay, Honorable Sedi.
Yes, the accounting officer. But anyway, accounting officer, oka provide a list of cases on a nat, so ministerial facing from industrial court, high court, public service commission, Mabapile adversary award.
Yes, sir, I can provide them.
You have the list.
We have the list. And we use that list to pay because, you know, it's wise that we should have the list because we will have to know who we are paying and how much we are paying and from what period to what period. So we have the list and that we can provide.
Make it available to the Secretariat.
Or
you can provide now?
No, not now, sir.
Okay. All right, you'll make it available to the Secretariat.
We'll do that.
Oh, thank you. Rest my case.
Thank you very much. Honorable Munahe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you and welcome, Accounting Officer. Government seeks to increase or have minimum wage at 4,000 pula per month, of course. One company, Chopis, has followed the instruction. How do you make sure that other employers do so? And also, this 4,000 other companies, but the allowance overtime and many other allowances for 4,000. How are you ensuring that they will do the right thing by monitoring?
I think first of all, we need to talk to these issues from the point of departure, looking at the definition. Minimum wage as is defined as the lowest hourly rate paid amount to a worker that is required by law that he should do that. That is the minimum wage. There's also another aspect, and I know that is very common to use this word interchangeably. There's also another aspect of this thing called living wage, which now takes into account issues of economy, the living standards, etc., etc. But what is pertaining is that the political leadership had made a position that 4,000 would be what would be required as a interchangeably living wage. That it will be at this time sufficient to cater for basic necessities. And this is comparing with the current minimum wage, which was passed by the Minimum Wage Board, is 1.5, if you recall, say. So this one was moving it away from 1,500 to 4,000. Now, what pertains is the bottom line at the end of the day. As to how an individual or an institution want to package this, is that on reflection, it must show the definition of the minimum wage or the living wage at that particular point. So there are companies which come forward because they have said when they are looking at their returns, when they are looking at their income, they are ready to do that. And they set up what should constitute what will go inside the living wage, and then it becomes 4,000. So there is not necessarily a cut-off description of, say, it should include this and that, but it should be at a level where we believe an average Botswana at a low level will be able to access basic necessities out of that amount, comparing to what pertains before then.
Thank you for that. As of October 2024, the ministry received about 665 cases for compensation, in addition to 2.119 cases. What has led to this accumulation of like totaling 2.785 compensation cases, and how do you intend avoiding such backlog in future?
So there has been, I must admit, there has been delay in compensation. There are a number of factors to that effect. Remember, this comes from the situation where there is a case, it has to be followed, and there has to be some assessment and evaluation that has to be done with respect to what kind of compensation you have to be given. And that also has got a time factor in it. But the most delay that we have experienced is that which has to do with people who have to, bring back the information that is necessary in the assessment. For instance, if it's a compensation out of injury or something like that, then we've got the medical doctor who has to make his own decisions on that. And then in some cases, there's a second opinion that has to be done, etc., etc. And this has taken long. Sometimes the people who help in any form of compensation outside this means we will have to have the people who convene and look after this thing after a very long time. So the resources also may be a constraint, or they are a constraint. So I think what we are trying to do at the moment is to get as many people as we can. We have focused onto this because kana ya ka bua honorable gona le mathata a gore motho ha ngwana tshwantse gore o ka ba compensated now. It takes too long. And if it takes too long, by the time motho ha o compensatiwa, let the value of what is compensated for is not actually addressing. He will get exactly what he's looking for. But obviously, if you take a long time, the value at that point is not there. So we're trying as much as possible to bring this as quick as we can by making sure that we've got enough people, we have got capacity, and making sure that our collaboration with people who give information that helps in making the assessment are also available.
Thank you. Still on compensation, but a different one. Also, we are talking X minus, but compensate you. And have you engaged South Africa, because of course there were workers there in South Africa as minors? Have you are you in bilateral talks with South Africa? That's number one. How many of these people are involved? And the last one, how are you engaging families of these ex-minors? Because Baba Mwitele ka ba utwalla yana mo ditseleng yana ba sa itse gore gato go diragalang.
Chair, we have this issue comes from long way, like you rightly say, and in Molepolole where you are coming from, and the way is there's also a hospital that helps in the assessment of the people who may be affected by some disease, some occupational disease arising from their time when they were active at the mines. We have engaged at the ministerial level. We have engaged at PS level. I have personally, with my team, have visited and met the PS for Health and the PS for Labor in the Republic of South Africa, and some representatives of the Ministry of Health at the PS level, at the lower level of the PS, to talk about this issue. I can say briefly, in short, I can say that both the two governments have actually engaged in a very intensive and amicable way, to an extent that we have worked out the numbers of people to be paid. But these numbers do change with time, because every time we do assessment, the people that we didn't know about, the numbers come and we send them for the assessment. Remember, there are a couple of ways through which these people are assessed for. First is the impact that arise from occupational health. Secondly, we have people, which we haven't studied that one. We've got people who, out of injury, they had accidents there. And then there are people who had some annuity, pension funds, which by the time they left, some of them, they were not aware if they had money there. So what we're doing is that we have got the groups across the country that are traveling the country, working labor, working with the village leaders, and we hold our meetings in the Kotla. And what happens is that it is not only those people who are alive who are going to benefit. You will recall, mining, they are now but even if your parent, there is evidence your parent is no longer there, but there's sufficient evidence he worked in the mines, and any form of money, any form of payment, whether injury, pension, annuity, or disease related, these people are traceable and we pay them. They are paid as well. The two governments have agreed on an arrangement that a trust called Siamiso Trust should monitor this arrangement. The government representatives in our employees and the employees in the mines, we meet regularly to look at the numbers that are left. And it's not an event. It doesn't take one day and we finish it. When another evidence comes and we know there are other people, there could be 50 more, they come back again. As I speak to you now, they are in Palape, and I want to report that from December 24 up to last week, an amount of 55 million rands, because I just saw what they sent, has been dispersed to such people. So yes, we work together, and let me see how many people were there.
Maybe as you consult your cell phone to get information, consider checking the number of people who might have been compensated for whatever purpose or whatever reason so far, regarding that 50-something million. Yeah,
we do have the totals.
Good.
But this one is related to the amount that has been dispersed from December 2024 to 30 April 2025. But we can bring a complete since the scheme started. Thank you.
I'm okay, Mr. Chairman, so far.
Just follow up on this one, because I think it's an issue that concerns a lot of people around the country. Ke utlwa gore wa bana ba bereka go di mine mme o ka e bana le bothata jo bo ya botsogo jo bo ka tswa mo dirilwe ke pereko ya bona go mine ba testiwa, and then go le ba gore this ongoing compensation ya ba ba pension le ba baneng ba golagala ga e khape sentle ga e tswe sentle gore wa re bone ga ba batla go thuswa ba ya ko ofising e a ba ya ko trust ene o e bua kgotsa ba tsena mo ofising e se ga ba le mo kgaolo e pela ba tsena ba bona mang.
No, it's very true. That's what I was saying. Babo pension, banera simolla morago. The structure for claimants, baba diran pernera itaganela ba occupational disease. As I speak now, the process and the memorandum of agreement on how people will be compensated is in the final draft form for catering for those.
Body pension.
Body pension, annuity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay.
Honorable Mabel, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Mabel.
Dumela PS le lekoko la gago.
Yes, sir.
Erra. Ye ya batho ba go di mining ye I'm happy ro builana ke tla itshwaranya le wena. Now ke fano. Since October last year. Ba gamalete le ba nanko gamalete. Ba ne batla go nna. Ke be ke ba tsamaela ke a go molepolle. I didn't get the answers. So I was actually forced to go to Joburg. I go to head office at Teba about 2-3 weeks ago. I went to Teba go Joburg. I go story recently because batsadi ba sokola batsadi ba setse madi a morago minne go sa direge. But I was able to make contact with them. In fact, I was able to make relationships, to have relationships le bona ba go Teba. Ke ituela information ntse o nne la ke tla isala morago gore tle re kgone gore ba go ba thusega rra. Tare tswele
ha lo ro hitile mai gona le ba reng jaanong ba gona le mahirihiri go tsa ditsotsi tse le gore dirisa kganye go ipatela madi bona a go go tnya batho ba ba mahalape gona le mongwe yo thusang batho ba ba ka bona madi ka a se ke lo tswelle ka go hirihitshana jo
go ntse alo o mluku ke go tlatsa Mr Chairman go ntse alo ibile ba ba duedisa ba bangwe gona le botsadi bo sa leng go duela monthly subscription I can call it like that since Boma 2013 Boma 2011 ekwa ba tsadi ba ntse ba duela ba magodu ba bara ba tla ba thusa ke ne ke khona go tsama di khotla meeting yana ke bolela ba tsadi gore nya e mapele tla ke go utlwa kganye gore ga teng le tlogela go duela batho ba le jela mati.
You know, Chair, I'm very happy that you have brought this up because it has always been and it still is. In fact, I think it is at a reduced level. When we were still doing the bilateral talk over this thing, led the South African government from this side, there were already people on the ground. 300 people from Botswana. South Africa. First of all, these people, they don't even know where that money is. And they don't know who has got authority. Process. So, like you put it, they're basically about to they are just scammers. We have helped and as soon as they realized Francis Town. But what is surprising about Baharona is nearly similar to Moba Tobatolambara Winne Ochopisika Winne Koka. Because this thing, we have had a communication, we have had a press release, we have had quota meetings over this thing. But people are still scammed. I'm not saying we're going to give up on the communication, but I think sometimes some people believe but there was so much channel certainly legally, certainly some form of agreement that has to be put into place. When we agree, it took long and it started probably late. But I'm appealing again here to people. South Africa. What I know, when I civil society, arrangement, again, within this arrangement, there are trust and other people. Mobilize about process they are not even having money, those people. They are just sharing information further. That's all they are doing. Anybody who says, write your name here, give me 300 pula or whatever, I'll be going to collect your money is fake. No, there's no such thing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Interrupting your floor.
Please, please increase your publicity. Office public relations, one press release and a couple of quarter meetings is not sufficient. Increase publicity alone so that because so please information e o e fileng gampe ke botlhokwa thata e ntle e tshwanela ke gore e gasiwe ke tla leka ke tla tshwaragana le wena gore ke le nna ko kgaolong ke go e gasetse. But please also speak to your public relations office a roketse publicity ya teng. A re bue ka kgang ya di-inspection PS le dira di-inspection le tlhola babereki gore ba bereka jang ba bereka mo di-condition tse di ntseng jang. Ke batla go itse gore tekes ka boela go morago thata ke jara e fela e le dirile tse kae di-inspection jara e fela.
I did not bring the figures for now. I brought the figures for the year under review, but I do have the figures.
Ha ona le rough estimate a ke re ke itse gore le plana quarterly gore la go ira eng ke ra le bo di PDP tsa batho mo ba itse gore ya conduct the inspection tse kana ha ona rough estimate ya gore this year le council conduct le tse kae.
Look, I can tell you that obviously in the event centers there will be more compared to where there's no activities, and I think I hear what you are saying, and this is what I'm saying, Hori. With respect to the numbers of inspections that we have done, we will be running into hundreds. I can safely say that.
Okay.
I don't have the ballpoint figure, but we'll be running into hundreds. And like I say, it's a sort of information that is transparent, and
What do you find halile gore di inspections ba bereka yang ba tswana ko ntle kwa mo di shopong tsa ma China, shopong tsa ba letso la India, di shopo ka go farologana fela kana di tirelo fela go ba tswana ba berekang teng ba bereka yang ba tswana PS.
I can tell you that hona le batho bangwe ba madirelo ba eleng gore ba tlhaloganya this issue ya occupational health and safety, or safety and health. They have got some protocols that they follow, because that's what we inspect. First of all, we check if they have got protocol. Secondly, we check if they have got equipments or gadgets, depending on the kind of environment they work in, and see whether they have had them for how long. And if it's an area, but time and again, some routine medical checks, we check if that has been done. But I can tell you that there are some people who follow this. Some do not follow it. But that is also made worse by the fact that bangwe, not everybody else, ba Botswana le bona ba berekang teng, ba kgona go hita gore go ga go nna sente. And later on, they will come to office or somewhere else. Ba go bolela tota in reality go ntse yang. But kan ha ra go inspector ha re bitse for money ha be re ba bitsa hale gona le the level e re buang le banga madirelo le bone ba itse there's an arrangement like that gona le arrangement e re buang le ba, and we do this in the highest confidentiality, and I'm not going to say so and so talk like this, so and so talk like that. It's just tell about sometimes by the nature of our people how we make it say gore ba bo ba ra gore no we kana bo gona le tumalano dingwe kampo nyama ke ska ga ira go twa go ntshegetsa tiro kana yang here. But I would say
actually I think so how it's just fear of victimization. Gore kana hanga ba ka ntsha di kgantse le ha lo re tsetso go thoko go bua lona le ba bereki hanga ba ka ntsha di kgantse ona le mpimpi gone o tiro re hela ha hetse labor is na go tsama a ba sa ba isa di kgang ko ba hearing go ba nkoba and ba dira ba ko ba batho hela ha motho go tikena na ngore ya go eta molemo ba moko mo madirelong a mang
no, it's very true what you are saying, Chair. But the other thing is that in addition to that, the inspector we walk the floor. They form a complete picture of what is actually happening there. But like I say, I would say 60-40, 60 they will be conforming in terms of all the protocols. How is not entirely all the things that are required. But the lighting is okay, the air conditioning is okay, the seats are okay, but maybe le sengwe se leng gore se ka dira gore go megala itetse go le go e ka khopa motho wala mo machine kana go letelwa batho ba tsena ha ba ka se ka ba tsena ka dithai ba tsena ka gone, which can be a danger.
Okay, thank you, PS. PS, the inspection is the dirileng jare wena personally o irile tse kae wena o tsamile mo tse kae wena
No, I haven't been to the inspections.
You have not been to inspections?
No, I haven't done the inspection. I've been to Madirelo, but not undertaken the inspection.
Okay.
Because when you are gazetted, let me call it there, or designated as an inspector, there are certain things that you have to go through or dedicate to as such. But you know, given my schedule and given the hierarchy and other people in between, we trust that these people are trained enough and they fit the criteria.
Thank you. Thank you, Pierce. So you have not done it?
Yeah, not myself, no.
Let me tell you something, Pierce. I have personally gone around ke ile go inspector di components tse di kwa ga malete ko ba gaetso ba berekang teng. I disagree with what you are saying completely. Ware 60% go batho go bereka sentle go siame sentle, 40% ke gone go le bona mothata teng mme ebile bothata ba teng bo se kalokalo. Pierce, I disagree with you completely. Last week ke ne ke le ko dikukung ka fo notwane ka fa ko Masidikwe ke fitlhela go gese go te a lika ba batla go pateletsa ba ga malate gore ba tsene mo teng ba bereke ke tswa ko disiping ko Somalia ko Taung ke fitlhetse ba gaetso ba bereka diaparo tsa bone di makgasa ba bereka mo tsiping ba apa tsipi e bollo e leng gore ba bangwe bile ba o boga matlalo ba apara di jeans di le bo 3 bo 4 ha ba fiwi la ga ile one protective clothing. PS ware batho ware ba tswana ba bereka sentle ko ntleko a o tsene mo di components one tse wa bona di restaurant tse gore go berekwa jang. I cannot believe gore o bua ka fo bua nga teng ba tswana ba sokola ka fo ba sokola nga teng ba sokodisiwa ke ma China ba sokodisiwa ke ma India ba sokodisiwa ke batho ba hirileng ibile ke a makala gore wena PS o le tlhogo ya labor ha o iphe matsapa gore o go bona gore ba tswana ba bereka yang ra puso di change na go di change re tsantse re change ka fo re berekang ka teng ka fo rakanyang ka teng le ka fo re dira le dishutse ka teng tse. You need to start going because I completely disagree le sengwe se se buileng ya ka ke bua ke tsamaile ke bone ke tsene ko mathaene le ko ramotso ke fitlhela le gore ba hirwa ka kontraka ya kgwedi awar dilo tseo ke tsone di siameng awar ba gaetso ba berekang ko Somalia ba go ba pantshipi ba shwa mo kana ba sane le protective clothing a re tsamaye re go next week wo inspector nna ke tswa go ba emisa ka checka gore go berekwa ya ka fitlhela gore ga go berekege sentle.
Chairman, kana a go te Somalia gongwe MPI tlhatswe go ka gore he took a trip to Somalia, the country.
Nya ba ge tsone ba itse go bidiwa Somalia go tswana still
nya ke rona ra gone gore ke tsa roa that's a right intervention gore go ngwa kere kana re bua ka dikgantsa le hatsela rona lote gantele a re Somalia ba tsa mo parlamente o kila kgabola o Somalia o ra le helo lengwe le bidiwang Somalia gone ka ha sa dintsa
Chair, I'm not going to argue the basis, the points put forward by honorable member here. What he saw is probably different from what the other person saw in Mulopule or in Maung or in Kasani. And if there was an argument where everyone also had to argue about what he saw, others might be saying somewhere else, or number one is even 20%. What I was giving here was a picture in a and I was trying to demonstrate there are issues, there are situations where there are deficiencies, and we continuously look at these things, wanting people to make sure they get things right. And I was also saying, depending on the area of work and depending on an item, everybody checklisting, it might be a boiler that is not functioning properly. It might be a hot machine.
Yes, Chairman.
No, you go patch because the whole idea is to try to share and assist as much as is possible. And this is what I'm trying to do. I'm talking about what our people, even in the document here, it's not me. They're also saying, even the period under review, what experience were there. But we will never say to someone who has seen with his eyes that he is not telling the truth. We will never say that. it actually helps us to go and see how bad the situation is. And that is the feedback that we want. Because like I was saying earlier on, there are situations saying how we live on about how picture. But if we get information collected from everywhere else, we are happy about that. Now the issue, I have been to factories, but I was not in the head inspection. Not that you guys get some money when you born. But
Chairman, is busy defending
yeah, I'm not going to
himself.
get clear.
Yes.
I'm not defending anything.
Honorable,
So-
Honorable, yeah, me. Umanela sebaka.
O tlo go nkgatha nako ya meikhutshwane ke batla gore a arabe ke fete.
Honorable, how will the Kaibile have more super Camerona? I think it's only natural or I like
Mr. Chairman, do you understand that I'm talking and I'm speaking for the people that are really suffering?
Can I finish what I'm saying? It's only natural or I but then I'll determine I'll stop him. But Hansiki Akanya is making a point. Yes, I did hardly repetitive, then I'll allow him. No, it's right.
Now, as well guys, really, the situation on the ground, there are situations where things are not as bad because there would have been people who have been there and they are reporting back. And there are situations which are bad. That's all I'm saying. It's not.
Pierce, the situation is bad out there. Situation is very, very, very bad out there. The situation is bad. The situation is bad. But
You have made your point, Honorable. Can you progress your?
In the last year, lately during, do you ever let's say to the kato conform or what do you do? And how many have you closed down or did something to listen to PS, but when I go to give me one example.
Ha retailer di tsamaiso tse di tlhokagalang gore di nne teng di sa selo morago ra tswala mme go tswala go tswa mo goreng re tabe re beile gore go tshwanetse gore se bakanyege se le se bakanyege se le se bakanyege ke ra gore that is being done mo gongwe e ka nna kgakololo ka gore it all depends on the nature and the what do you call the potential of the exposure that can put someone into trouble. Bogakolodi bo mo bonna teng ha ngwe ke mo go tswalang go to ithala le batho ba ba akanya mo ngwe re ka tswala le di permit tota ha motho e le gore o operate ka permit e sa le bagana le ha na tshwantse gore operate teng ne ra ha ke tsora go letela go ya di company tsa batho ne ra ira ko mo go disane jalo if I recall and the commissioner is here also wa ga go ne ra ira kwa ra emisa ra tsali di permit tsa madirelo ka ha ngwe batho ba khona gore ba hiwe permit ya go dira se bone ba go dira se la dira di inspection re thala dira se se
so mo ngwageng hela otlhe se April to April ka tswale tswetse a le ka he madirelo
ha ke a tshwara report ke tsora commissioner Roka
that is important information.
We do have it, yeah.
That you should capture out amo mitiwa muta. The last question
how go abu aloro wilega yes ba bergi ba sokola kontle ba raiso ba bergi ba sokola ba bergi ba na le lentswe ga ke lefa. I need you to understand that ba bergi ba na le lentswe ga ke lefa ke tlo ba buelela ibile I will not even fear anyone. I hope ra utlwa because I'm still going to come ya go gamalti ke batla gore o tsamaye le nna ke go bontsha.
Yes, you are invited.
I'm inviting you. Rotsa mele nna ke go bontsha gore ba getso ba tsela yang kwa. Nna ke ne ka tsela go ka ba emisa baba kana ga o tsela go o ro ba bolela ba batla gore ba re they cannot close down for you go bua le batho because bone they are looking at the business rena le target gore re bola dikuku tse kana ka tsentse ke ba ra kere I'm not going to prioritize profit over batho ba gaetsho ba sokola. I'm not going to do that. And neither should you, PS. Neither should you. What I'm hearing from you is like you, we get you, but ba sokola. But ba sokola.
You have made your point, Honorable.
I want it to sink in.
Okay.
I need for it to sink in.
Thank you.
I need for this to sink in.
I guess
Ba
it's
sokola.
I guess it has sunk in.
Labor office e go ramotswa. Le neglected le ba ditse tafulanya le kana nyana kore ha gona le office ga bana la haile sepe ba leka ba sokola ba divide ba berga ba le two kwa ga malete ba ba be di fela.
Thank you very much, Honorable.
Le lokezaling staff.
Lokezaling staff, the last one.
Thank you for the invitation, Honorable. Just tell me when, and I'll be there with my team.
I thank you, sir.
And everybody else who invites, not only you, not only Hamalete, anywhere else, we will be there.
That's what I want to
We
hear.
will not derail away from the progress.
And PS, you are the chief inspector.
We appreciate. Check the law. It doesn't say I'm the chief inspector because these things are.
Well, I'm just.
Honorable, exchange aluna.
Yeah, sorry, sir. No, resource. I cannot dispute that, Chair. Honorable le matata allocation of the resource, but highly the inspection. What we normally do, we try to augment this things. Kadi patrol. Say no gore. Rega khona gore ha gongwe. Harele mo ha gore the incidents di report lo ya ka honorable la reporter. Maybe in a week. Sometimes it's a rona hell. Rana ba police ba bangwe gape. Re tsene mo lehelong in an active way. Hore khona go bona gore gongwe ka re ha re tswa ho ra be ra chivile se re se batlang go se dira le di equipment jalo jalo. So I cannot, like I said earlier on, I'm not going to dispute what you are saying. You saw what you saw. I'm talking to what I also know. Thank you.
Hey, ana super hona le mahelo a mangwe a tshabelelwang ke gore ba bereki ba teo ba sa tsewe sentle a teng a nna ke dumela re tsone la prioritize ha o bua ka ba bereki ba dipolase go tswa gone go gantsi go heta jalo o tsena ka bo thuli blocko go kae go na le ba bereki ba dipolase ba ene gore ga ba tshele sentle ba khogontshiwa ba kgerisiwa ke re mahelo a go tshwantse go bona la prioritize ba bereki bone ba construction ba retail ke tsa gore ona re bolona na le pointe gongwe o ska kgona go catcha ya reng ba go be berekisiwa ka kontraka ya kgwedi le kgwedi o na ria a bololo a di tiro tse tsotetse
ma ke tsene mo go ene dio tse honorable ra di go re gongwe ga re di buele go godimo ya ka honorable a di bu. But we know those things are there, and I can tell you mo mola o mosha o re o dirang ra go ira gore for instance ke wa se kai here ha project e hirile batho it's ama 5 years. Gona le bosupi ba gore a particular artisan or activity it's ama all the way to 5 years. People must be employed up to the end of the contract, not 1 month. We have actually lorona retest about Wadiraya, but it's not that we appreciate it, and that is why we're even making the law and the penalty stiffer. Hore batho ba se ka ba dira jalo ga go letela ga rena go letela motswana yo e tare motho a ira madi a ba re kgwedi le kgwedi for 5 years kgwedi le kgwedi o sign a contract. That is highly unacceptable.
Ni kana go go ntsi gone mo ke gone ka go hirwa ka tema letsi ke gone ka go hirwa ka teng
che ha ke itse gongwe yone molao gompieno a wa leta gore go nne jalo ke utlwa gore that's why we are making the law gore go se ka ga dirwa jalo a molao gompieno wa leta gore go dirwa jalo
ya gongwe ke ka ke bile ka teng molao ga o leta gore go nne jalo molao o leta se leng gore ha o mphirile ke le carpenter ma ke hesika re le mo tirong e supa gore tiro ya bo carpenter ya go tsa 5 years just for argument's sake. There should be no reason why every month on sa carpenter o tsenya carpenter ka gore ha o ira yalo o ira la gore issue tsa bo severance le tse dingwe motho a ska benefit.
But we don't allow ha se ka isa project le la reportelwa le bela tsa kgato mo go yone batho bao ba tswelela ba tsama bo 2 years bo 5 years jaaka project e tsama o ka ha se ka
I would not have sekai ano gore ne ratsa tshwetso e ntseng yang me yana se ke se itseng ke gore ha re ithetseng batho ba dirwa jalo
o itse gore ga ona sekai ka gore PS ka gore ha di seletse kgato gope mme le reportetse.
Well,
Honorable Chair, please, I can take you tomorrow.
Honorable Mabel, You are not on the floor.
Chairman, you
not on-
are Chairman.
You are not on the floor.
Chairman, this is too much. What is happening to our people is too much, Chairman.
I'm going to
Chairman, what is happening to our people is too much, Chairman. Please. Hero 1 month, 1 month, 1 month.
We understand
Chairman,
the pain that our people are going
Chairman,
through.
I don't think you understand. I've been there. I saw. Something must be done. Something must be done differently.
Honorable
Yes.
Mabeo, you have made your point. Honorable Polagolo.
Thank you, Mulastilo. Pierce, dipotso tse ka ha di tse ka teng di supa sengwe. Ke dumela gore ke mandate ya gago go netefatsa gore molao wa phiro le melao e amanang le phiro di a obamelwa. Go ntse jalo.
Go ntse jalo.
Dipotso e bo e nna gore wena o le PS a melao ya phiro le melao e tsamaelanang le phiro a wa e obamela.
Ke a e obamela.
O obamela melao ya phiro go ntse go na le melao e leng gore in your report go supagala gore you have 23 trade unions which were non-compliant to the labor laws and still remain in your books. Is that compliance to the rules or the laws? Tsa phiro?
It does not comply, but you must also read where it indicates what we do under those circumstances.
Who has to comply? Do we allow your ministry, that is, to allow trade unions, saying or there are no checks and balances, and yet money is collected from employees? About any annual returns, and you say you are compliant to labor laws.
But I thought I said you must also read what he says we do with such people.
But you are not complying to the law. What does the law say? What does the law say you do to a trade union that is not compliant?
We don't allow them to participate. We don't allow them to be tripartite membership. We don't allow them to be our social partners.
But they still remain in existence and they still continue to collect because they remain in your books.
Kana molao how di rilo kwadilwe is something else. Molao how do dirisa gore lona le tshwantse le tse kgato e le di associate yourself from such people. Ba eng gore ba ka joina batho ba ntsinyalo ba ntse ba bona gore batho ba ha se ba ba ira dilo ka molao. We make awareness to them for we don't recognize such people because they don't follow the laws.
But you have not done that, according to your own report. Another example, what your compliance rate when it comes to issuance of work permit is 41%. Where is the compliance there? You fail to comply yourself. And what more about factories out there? Do you comply to Factories Act? I doubt. If you cannot comply to simple issuance, a work permit, and your rate of compliance to the request to the application, 41%. This is in your record. I'm not making it up.
Yeah, I know. That one is there, and that is why I'm happy you have read that one at least. What we are saying...
What are you suggesting?
No.
What are you saying?
What are you suggesting? Are you suggesting?
No, I'm just saying, every challenge we put, we give a reason, even in the document, or how do we deal with that, like deregistration, etc., etc. Those are the things we are saying. I'm saying that 41, I know about it. And that is because, I was saying and implying, the resources they are hampara le rona. And Mehel, the issues of compliance, they are not an event. In a day, they are progressive things. Happy mo what are conazing what Tibahan, Moga to go up Punuka. I go on. Yeah, give me Melanale. Those things do open you get the escape from your radar.
The Punuka deleting tomorrow another. Because still, at least Kanandor, at least I've read that one. There's another one. Issue of compliance. By yourself. you say, oh, 63.3%. So, I mean, work permit applications. Why can't you do your work 100%? It is an event. So according to you, every year you set targets for yourself, don't you?
Yes, we do.
And then what is the expectation? How settle the targets? Should you not meet them?
We should meet them.
So you have failed to meet your targets. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, there are situations.
So you have failed to comply with labor laws of the country.
Chair, now I'm going to get this with this understanding. Resettle the target. But because of other things that emerge, and I also gave an example at the resources hall, and I don't think it's an abnormality or the targets can be set, the Berisa Chari in totality, like 100. It does happen. It has happened to us in this case also, Lorna. We have not met compliance, and we are not denying that.
Honorable member, I think he said, and Haisia Kyari, 100%. What he's saying, if you are going at 41%, you are seriously underperforming. If you go at 63%, you are also doing very well. In this report, you indicate that the target was over 2,000. You could only do 200, but obviously the excuse then on this report is COVID. The percentages are too low, 41%.
No, I agree.
I think that is what the honorable member is saying.
And I agree with the honorable member. And I want to believe that was the target by then, 21, 22. If we were reviewing the way we are now, like I say, it's not an event. We're put into place a lot of mitigation that nowadays the numbers are a lot better than if you go back to 2001, 2020, 21, and 2022. But, we are not entertaining the low level of compliance. And I think this is what I'm trying to express. We will need to work hard and get the compliance to the level that we have set for ourselves. There's no argument about this. There's no doubt about that. We have to do that. And we are in agreement there.
Thank you. So you agree that 41% is just too low?
Yes.
It's underperformance?
Yes.
63% is also not very good, you agree?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
When we set the target, the idea of the target in any production area or in any workplace is to say, if I have done well, I should be here. If you get anything lower than that, depending on how far you are from the target that you have put, it can be defined as average or as poor or as something that can be improved.
41% is poor.
I agree with you.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Chairman, this explains why you still have shops operating with no hard hats, no safety equipment. And these are, even in Gaborone, like Honorable Mabeo was saying, we can show you places where these things are taking place. And the first thing we wonder, where are the people responsible? And in most cases, if not all of them, this is Botswana, the downtrodden, Here's another one. When was the last time you went the conditions when was the last time?
Me in particular or my team?
Your team?
You are the accounting officer. No. You are the
It's fine. I will try to emphasize this again.
Yeah, let's start with
the protocol and the protocol and the procedure.
Can I explain something? You is you and your ministry and your team.
Explain. I have no problems going to the farms, but I'm simply saying earlier on when you say I don't know whether it was you, Honorable Mabeo, and I'm a chief inspector. Chief inspector. I'm not trying to be what is. The protocol. The protocol labor.
No, you as in the accounting officer for the ministry, not you personally. I'm not talking you, the man. I'm talking you, the ministry that you represent as the accounting officer.
The last time that I remember was last year in the farms you said.
Yes.
Around the Tuli Block machining area, Honorable Nyatanga. We went there. Karuna was out, which farm did you go to? And I thought he then meant me. Then he said, no, I know your team. And I'm just saying my team went there. And there's evidence to that effect.
Okay.
When are you covering the rest of the farms? Because these people, one, it's not easy for people like myself to simply access the farm. It's not that easy. So when are you going to cover the rest of the farms? Like it was mentioned earlier, some of the people won't even tell you what is going on because banally fear they will lose their jobs. But at least, can you guarantee us, or you are going to draw a schedule, traveling, especially the farms, and talk to farm workers, and then go and look into the shop. I don't know if you go to the same Botswana I go to, but there are shops like that. And we put, why do they still have their licenses? Of recent, you have businesses that operate near the road, main road, with demand and everything. It poses a danger, a health danger to the people. It might not be for your ministry, but at least you have workers who you should go and inspect and take necessary action. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Schedule schedule. Start visiting the farms, visiting the mines, visiting the manufacturing. Schedule. Like now, I can't remember the schedule and I haven't brought it with me. So we do that. And Honorable Polo, what I'm trying to say now, the thing, me asore di gongwe le gongwe gona le ko eleng gore seemo di atokagala sa tokagala because of the inspection that we do, but because we can't reach every place every time, se dingwe go a diragala gore e re santse re le bonthabo bongwe di emo tse be di nna teng, but we are not going to give up. We will continue until the healthy and safety of our people is improved in the workplace. A ge ha toko ga tsela kana ge ha toko gaeng rona re more occupation. So long as it's occupation, it doesn't matter which sector, it doesn't matter which ministry.
Accounting office. Earlier on, you said that ha batho ba go bolela dikgang tsa dio tse ba di boneng ba bereki ba sotega ha o kwa ganetsana le bone. Actually ba go nela feedback e useful gore to kgone gore jana o dire tiro ya go botoka. Se ba parliament ba se buang gore you are not doing enough, you are not visible either. Mo mahelong ha o tsentse go nna visible mo go. I don't think there should be an argument here because ko ena o simolotseng khanya gore ha batho ba go supega tsa diposo o tsentse wa di amogela wa acta mo go tsona. That's what you said earlier. Ya re kutwa go ntere ke toka nna bua ka go tokagala ka gore you are not doing enough as per members of parliament. Honorable,
can I just finish on a sober note?
I thought you finished.
No. On a sober note.
No, okay, that's great.
Part of your mandate, of course, ke go create le go thusa go mebereko. Ne ke re kana Botswana is a global village. So does your mandate extend to assisting Botswana go bona international placement? Ha bana le dikeletso tsa go nna yalo. Thank you.
It was indeed a sober note.
Yeah. Do I have to respond, sir?
Yes, I think it's,
sir,
I think it's a matter.
Yeah, yes, sir. We are doing that. It's not long that we started this. In fact, we are even engaging our diaspora in terms of kobalenteng manonga jaga lusika. Eso gore ba go senya ile gore ba bitsane ha ile gore kwano ga re se re ne le environment e ka letelang batho gore ba tsene ho. And we are in constant touch with them, even with the embassies. If I may give an example, internship alone. As I speak to you now, we have built we have put together some memorandum of understanding. For instance, Rai review, Spain being one of them. re batla go isimolla as early as that level, not only when they are looking for job, because ba bangwe they have on their own found their jobs, and all we are asking for them, God, they must be part and parcel of this thing as a nation. What we don't want is a situation where batho ba bangwe ka gore go a diragala ba biletsa bangwe ko mahatsheng go ta go dira ditiro tsa bokgoba kana ba biletsa go ta ditiro tse leng gore motho ha emella wa ba tsieditswe ena ithela re go go buiwang teng wa go dira tiro e le banye. We're also guarding against that. That's why we're also putting the measures on the memorandum and trying to include the embassies gore ba re thuse le bone ba check gore a me go ke go ka tiswang bangwe ka rona teng. Yes, simple answer ke yes, we're doing that.
Yeah. Ke tabo ke tala go ya na honorable Khonegile. Me ke nearly in the heat of the exchanges ono o bua ka kganyi ya batho ba ba hiro ambo ba nna ba dira di contracts tsa go di lokgedi e beke le beke ke re let's not lose that one. Gongwe right so I address kganyi ka gore go lebega gore yaanong ke tsela e ntšha ya go hira batho malatsing mo di kontrakeng mo ditirong tsotlhe tse o ka di akanyang go hirwa batho le puso ya kry-a e tsene mo go hireng batho temporary. So ke re seemo se le dirang ka sone because ke seemo se le wena o se tlhaloganyang se se rayang gore motho a se ka ta bona di-benefits kore a berekela a bo a tsamaya wa changiwa berekela wa tsamaya wa changiwa ke re seemo se le se bona yang a mme se tsamaelana le melao ya ILO.
Che ya ka ke ne ke bua earlier on seemo se teng le rona ra itse gore se teng, we are doing something about them. Irile mo nakong e hitileng not long ago re ne ra kopa di-company gore di tise what we call employment returns. Mo di-employment returns, one of the things that we are looking for other than the issues that come from inspection ke gone go itse gore batho ba ba hirilweng segolobogolo e le Batswana ke ba di-skill D ba berekela ha kae a ke batho ba ba ka tsususiwang gore go ya pele ba kgone go dira mo diphateng tse e leng gore go na le ba tswa kwa mo go tsone. And we are requiring that they must give us the skill set. They must give us a plan e supang gore go ha go na le an understudy program o go developiwa Motswana mongwe e o nang le diemo gongwe di se di thokotsege thata go lekana le tsa yo tshwereng maemo gone go. And we believe gore even though we might have started late, this thing is going to happen. The other thing ke kgang ya gore re tshwenyega thata ka di issues tsa separation package. They go along together with this one. Kgang ya di separation package ke gore kana mo nakong e hitileng go ne gona go diragala go le gantsi gore company bere na ke a dira di-profit jaanong ke am winding up ke te ke duele ba ke ba duelang ke tsamaye go ne go sena ha re ka thwagalang kana ra isa buitsana pe bongwe gore re bone gore ha re ga ira di-profit o ra a irile bokae. Mo bogompieno we have put in place monitoring program hela ha simola kwa di-sell company le ha tsamayang teng le ko tax ko bese gore re kgone go bona gore dipoelo tsa go ke bokae gore e se ka re ha kgaogana le batho ba a ba re nna madinyana ne ke a bonye ko ona hela gore a gore ke tanela mongwe le mongwe 5,000 o tshwanetse gore mo dithulaganyo tse re di dirang jaanong a ye gore le ene ka seemo sa kontraka se ne ba dumelanye ka sone e seng sa 1 month 1 year 1 gore gotwe ha e le gore o ne o bonye bokana gore a re mo babereking ba go bone ba tla tsaya bokana ka gore le diragaletswe lotlhe ke seemo e seng mo ene gore go tswa gore bona motho a tswala komponi yone a ba dikolo ga ba bula engwe gape. Dilo tse ke dilo tse re di itseng ga ke gane ya ka ke ne ke bua mme ke dilo tse e le gore tshwanetse re thusane mo go tsone le di bone le re di bolele le rona re tsene mo go tsone ka bokete.
Thank you. A re thusane maabane le tse re thusane e nngwe lekwalo ke le le dule go ka nna jang ha re ka re kana diemo ke tse ra di bona la di le ka meditsweletse di a diragala go ka nna jang ha o ka ntsha mokwalo to the employers mokwalo to the private sector as a press release for starting Monday labor as a department will be undertaking inspection lahatse ka bophara to rectify bothata jo jwa di kontraka tsa kgwedi me project e rana 2 years rona re le PAC rona re le mapalamente re ka go thusa ka information ya di-company tse di dirang jalo.
Honorable, mokwalo re ka o ntsha. What I was trying to share with you, because we know these issues, we have used other platforms to talk to them. And I'm not by saying so, although I can't say Monday because we're going to plan it. We're going to make sure that what we are going to undertake is within, given the capacity and the time frame, we can do it within a time frame. Go Francistown. No, before we go to Francistown, my honorable minister went to TV twice to talk about it. The high-level engagement, the business community. My honorable minister went ahead to go and talk about it. Mokwalo okadiriwa etabele an emphasis.
Thank you. Arjumala ne hore mokwalo ta dirwa. Arjumala le rona stakeholders re ta go thusa.
Akere mokwalo ne o ta kra rota dirwa mo nakong sietelle thata. Akere bana re batla go plana. Gore o tere ha o dira mokwalo mme le wena bo ipakantse. So if we give you say a month to do it, is that something doable? Gore mo kgweding yone because indeed it is true. Hiri, exploit ba bereki. Ka di kontraka tse sa kgwedi le kgwedi. Di construction, di farming, tourism, hotel, kgwedi le kgwedi, di shop, hela ja. Kere, ke tsa gore ra re kgonegile. Ke lebogela se o tanga sone gore a at least re move la go goma. Gore tere dire sengwe about the situation. Gore le hatsele re na le go bua gore justify gore tsamaya gore tare bua gape ngwa go ta. That's not good enough.
Me gape yone
go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Negre mo go yone chairman gore ane accounting officers le maphata a bone and everything. Gore ba kane ba itlwaetsa go to communicate because ale dijimala hela lona le itare le dira tiro batho kwa ba se ba utwa sepa hela se tswang ko le pateng le ampo ko ministry ngo in the past no ikela ka re le tshaba go acta e karampo le ta tsela di khato ampo but the more we see you guys you officers le visible kuri runtsu bona na wona mo kwalo
make it sound you have made your point.
Thank you. Bantse na go e ba bua ka kwena
e heleletse ka ki still consulting but
thank you gone mme ha re ya ko
no ke ra thabo ke ro disturb ba parliament ba mo flow.
Thank you. Ha re ya ko issue ya di mine.
Okay.
Le hile di mine exemption permits kana special permits tsa gore di operate 12 hours shift. Ba bereki ba mine jaanong ga ba bereke bo 8 hours normal shift ba bereka bo 12 hours shift. And these special permits, exemption permits, di na le bo 7 years di run. Me exemption permit mo mine ka ha molao e tshwanetse gore e nne hela ka nako ya emergency. Di emergency tse di mo di mine tsa 7 years ke tsa a ga le bone go tshwanetse gore go boelwe hela ko the normal permits tsa operation ya mine.
Say the exemption since the minus kidlo ze na diriwa kana kwene diriwa ka yone ga di a siama ga ke go hase ka ihel I think it's last month minister rauna tsama le di mine mo teng a thalosa gore dilo se ba ne ba di dira kana go e go ne reseo ba ne ba di dira ele phoso ka gore motho o ka ska wa expecta gore go gona le exemption exemption ya lebaka le lekana. So it's something that we are working on gore make sure gore we bring them to the standard se se le tang gore exemption in exemption kana exemption ena le mabaka a yone ya no sengwe le sengwe le ska na exemption ka go to review these things and make sure gore di dirwa le maloba re ne re go ne go nothe ka hale minister a tsamaile le commissioner ke dikgang tsone tse neng tse re di bua tse re dumelana le wena mo yone.
Ha le bona le tabele banka ntse mo lebakeng le kae a gompieno molao ga o lelete gore le ka withdraw di-permit tseo?
No, kana kgang e leng teng ke gore mo gongwe dilo tse tsa tripartism le social partners ha go na le phosego e dirilwe ke mongwe e re le mmogo ga re batle go e dira re ra solva mo go ka tisang bothata. Ka gore kana these mines are at productive levels, mme go na le di-agreements tsa dikgwebo tse ba di dirileng le ba bangwe ko bokete se re tshwanetse re se dire se re tse re kopile gore se dire ke gore re nne ga se re dumelana ka di-houra le di-exemption tse e leng gore they are feasible e le gore we gradually do it in the shortest time possible. E se gore e re mine o le go o setse o irile strategic plan sa one le batho jalo le dithulaganyo tsa kgwebo le dithulaganyo tsa gore batho ba ba theogela yang e be re go ra re ka moso re emisitse. We encourage the bilateral engagement that all parties must understand that we must do the good thing that is a win-win situation for everybody.
Win-win situation for everybody. Ka ha we buang ka teng, it's a win situation for employers. It's a win situation for business people. Babereki ba go tswalla ba sokola hela go ithalla di permit tse nako tsa tsone di hela ke gone a be go ka diragala se le gore se tshwanetse go diragala. Mme ha re tsweledisa kanya go average overtime hours in mines le mo di components tse dingwe ke eng le letelela gore ha motho a berekile 6 hours a be a sa duelwe 6 hours a tshwanetse gore a mo duelwe a be go average wa di ora tseo ke tsela gore o tlhaloganya gore ke bua jang ke le letella dilo tse for over such a long period mo ba bereki ba berekang long hours ba sa duelelwe long hours ba mmereka.
You know, honorable ke khonele di issue di buantse ke di issue tse leng gore and we cannot deny it, they happened over a long time. Where we are on ke gore now that we have found out dilo tse gore di ntseana, we have started to engage the unions. Re le go gantsi re le go maung re bua le bone gore di khantse e le bodiredi boleha union mine representatives le bone ba leha di khantse di tshwanetse gore di eme re ile selo se leng gore is acceptable under the conventions tsa ILO, for instance, because that's the premise e re operatang ka yone. We don't entertain them, we don't encourage them.
The work permit di wala ka hata sa le phata la gago thokola ditiro mo le hatsen la Botswana le go godimo hela thata mme ha motho a ka bona palo ya di work permits tsa le phata la gago le dintshitse le di habatswakwa for ditiro tse e leng gore ba di dira ba di tela mo le hatsen la Botswana ke ditiro tse e leng gore Batswana ba na le boitsanape jwa tsone. Re ka bua ka di managera tse di tetse mo di shopong tse tsa ma India, re ka bua ka di school head ba hoko ba dikole tse di private tse di tetse mo Botswana, re ka bua ka ba matishara ruta mo di kweleng tse di private tse di tetse mo Botswana. Ra go bona phetogo le can we have a definite date?
Honorable, I think you may recall gore Honorable Minister wa Labor and Home Affairs we released statement especially ha ke bua yone ya matitshara e o e bua ka nako e ne re na le banana le batho ba ne ba iteletsa gore dilo ga di dirwe sente a bua gore go tswana ko yone eo a go sa thola go hiwa batho ba ditiro tsone tso di buang tseo di permit. We agree, we know ba ne ba ntse ba di hiwa gore ga bana ba se thola ba di hiwa me ga tswelela ga nna yalo di a rejectiwa. But one of the things that we are looking at ke gore gongwe dilo tse dingwe tse re se ka ra di dira go lebega o ka re dira ka tshagalo ke gore re di dire re etse thoko the dynamics around us, because in some instances, and I'll give the example tsa dikwele tse no bua ka tsone, go na le dikwele tse le gore for people to be teaching in those respective schools, other than the normal formal qualifications, almost schooling, bo banale certain competencies or accreditation of some form. Remember, like I keep on saying, this is school, is also business. And these people come here, because it also happens in the value chain of people who earn. What we need to do is to strike the balance between those who we definitely need and those who we don't need, number one. Number two, what we need to do, in some instances, if that is the case, those competencies or that accreditation, that so that eventually we, you know, we believe, like in any other situation, in any other country, all we need now is to balance this effect. And what we are trying to do, Minister, balance until there is a seamless takeover.
How do you intend to balance it? Honali fund ya private sector skills development. We dirisa go le kae go leka gore diemo tse di ntseng jana ha ile gore batswana ba teng me ba thoka go develop your skills wise o ka khona go dira jang?
Laha go ke tabe ke bua ka fund e seng ka ha taolo nyame. Gone we work as a collective within government. Na ke libile rona re libile employment me ha re bona go gona le madi teng ya ka re se re se mo tse di puisanyo le the various fund holders. Ha ile gore they suit specifically for the activity that we want to do. And if I give you an example of tourism, or create employment and tourism, we are in talks now. We are coming in the aspect their labor and creation of employment. And they are looking at the funds saying or how they restrict or this are labor. We are curtailing certain development. So we are basically when skills development, Minister of Skills Development, in a straight. But for now, we can still access it provided they are tweaking it to fit the purpose. They will create the employment through them.
Last question, sir.
You are in talks on a number of issues, PS. Things are starting. Botswana ke hona simololang PS. Issue ya BNPC public college le IDM measure. Maikalelo ke go hella ka product e ntseng jang. Ke eng le measure le sa involve the union. Tata more private, more parastatal e ka hata sa gago ya BNPC. Le gone ke eng BNPC motho a ka botsa ena le ngwaga tse kae e sena board. Ke mang yo e header gompieno? A yo le mo appointileng go e actela go header? Ha la contravena act?
Say, ya go involvement ya the union can measure. We actually had a we actually had a meeting last week. And you can go and ask them, the union. Because we understand them to be strategic partners. So we are talking to them. The only thing the measure effect in Botswana Public Service College, le BNPC only, IDM is considering at that time. When the discussion evolved, there was need to consider IDM. What we want to see eventually is what we call a center of excellence. Guide this country and put it in a better position in the world in terms of productivity and work ethic. And what they offer at the moment, we have identified the areas that can fit in that scope.
You said.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay. Just complete.
Kya hita ka eo?
Complete response.
Ke tsena mo go ya BNPC ena le lebaka la close to a year. It's a substantive. It's a substantive CEO. But the Act allows, in partnership with Yarona, government as a stakeholder in it, to appoint more on rotational basis to see to it that the activities of the institution do not suffer. Mabaka na le mantsi gore go nne lebaka le leele. Mabaka ntlha e ne le mabaka a gore tsone di processes tsa measures ile ha di simologa ga bo gone go gopotsa gore is an exercise e ka diregang ka pela which was an oversight, I must say, ka gore di issues tsa melao tsa go form a new entity, other processes that will create a new essence as a transition ne di tla tshwanelwa ke gore di dire. Me, we found solace ha goreng in that case go ka bona gore batho ba ba leng teng as a principal stakeholder, government may, within the people who are in, not those who are outside. Parallel to that, there is a recruitment which is almost there.
Contract workers, labor freelance workers, are they entitled to both leafy kana short-term contract workers, leave freelance workers? Are they entitled to both leafy kana sick leave?
I think my commissioner will assist me here. Any worker, irrespective of worker, o tshwanetse go run the entitlement to sick leave.
Thank you very much.
Has your office ever received a complaint from BTV, Radio Botswana, Information and Broadcasting Agoromente, to the effect that freelancers there have leave, have sick leave? How say you? How do you?
My office in person, I don't remember that. Maybe they might have registered it with the commissioner, but they have not shared it with us, with my office to say.
Honorable Diwa?
Yeah, Modula Steve. They give me a once they have been covered. I only have one question to ask.
Thank you.
Can I rebuaga the X minus? I rebuaga compensation ya one. Rebuaga compensation ya the X minus. Rebuaga about to have a tone. Some of them are more than 70 years old. And they might have been waiting for their compensation for years exceeding 10 years. So, but you find that banale bana basadi ba bangwe le bone ba tsogetse. So what is your ministry doing to maybe do something for them that can keep them living while waiting for the compensation to come?
As a ministry, it is not in our purview to have some budget that is dedicated to people under those circumstances. But we do know, the basket of social benefits, which are not necessarily coming from our ministry. Which of course took long, is to make sure that me ba tswa kwa ba la gona le bosupi ya gore ba lwaditswe ke hane ba berekela teng ya ka ba bangwe ba sule ditsebe ba bangwe ba ne ba iphitlhela ba tsenywe ke bolwetse ba di TB ngara TV ka mo ngwana re TV ba bangwe ba iphitlhela ile gore malwetse a teng a bonyo ko morago ka gore mo gongwe se re bonye se diragala ke gore batho ba ne ba berekala mo lehelo le baka le lele ha tswa kwa dingakane di certify le gore o na sna bolwetse me morago ga nako ga trace wa back go bona gore tota bolwetse bo dirang gore a ska khubama kana ba se ba ira gore a ska nna sent bo trace gore bo simologile ko. We want that beneficiation to reach our people, but the short answer is gore ga rena package epe ya gore ka gore ba ne ba santse ba letile re ba khushine ka tsela nngwe hela.
Honorable Mtausani, you are going to ask only one question.
I want the follow-ups.
You want to follow up this one? Please go.
Thank you. But what happens in the event Mutueli or Otswanzo receive a compensation and he dies before he receives it? When it comes, where does it go?
E kana dithulaganyo tse di ntseng yalo di teng le ka molao wa rona gore mo ha gona le bosupi gore re ona togetse mme kana ona togetse bana le rona we have accommodated that, and I think I said that from the beginning gore we have accommodated that gore batho ba le bone go to go bidiwe ba ba gauhi ba ba leng teng gore kana re tswa go bona gore re ona na le ditshwanelo tsena di togetse kwa tse dingwe ana sa di itse kana bolwetse ba bolwalang go supega gore botile ka ntata ya the occupational health occupational health ka mabaka a kwana berekela teng yaanong botsadi ke bone bo burulaganya di-process tsa estate kana tsa gore batho bo ka kgaogangwe yang ga go setswe ba dumelang yalo e be e le gore ene o ba tabang a thopile gore ke ene di tsena mo go ene a ba ka dineelo thulaganyo yo e teng.
From the total number that you have of people who are eligible for compensation, how many are still waiting the compensation from those that have been assisted?
That number keep changing, sir. What happens is that as we go throughout the country, the number increases. One thing I know is that it doesn't go back. The number increases. And the whole idea with this thing is an event bone batho ba ne ke bua ka bone ba tshiamiso trust ba trust ba goro ga tonya re ba dile batho ba kana ya no re dule khanye hedile. No, it's going to continue. Go ithala re be re nna le tumelo a gore go haka ga go ntseng ka tere heditse batho bothe ba ba neng ba amega.
Number e tshotse go pele ke bokae?
E ke tshwetseng ha before between e bokae ke 621 between last quarter and now.
621.
621. But this number keep on continuing. It keeps on going up.
I'm done. I'm glad still, but I would like to have the contact of the desk officer for X minus compensation.
Okay.
I'll give you immediately after this.
Please do provide it.
For the benefit of all of us.
Yeah. Actually, it's
no problem, Mr. We'll give that to you.
Yeah. Honorable Tauzani, just hope you.
Thank you, sir.
You do me the usual favor.
Thank you. Can you the X minus say? Are you aware of the court decision in Nenya Wako Africa Bora Kaboneba Toba? Hore but both ba nemba berekela kwana ba duelwe madia ad compensation.
The issue of compensation to the mine workers, it came as a result of that court case. Ha baba ngweba ne ba itela ba re baka ya phila 6 gold mines. They were the main gold mines in South Africa. You can mention others, Botswana and what have you said. Baba ba dumelana gore bone le di union tsene di se kgang go court. Ga ba boele gape go court. They are going to pay mongwe le mongwe e go taba go rutswe tsamaiso ya go thathoba le tsamaiso ya bosupi ya gore ba bangwe ba kgaogetse matsogo ko kana ba ile ba lathegelwa ke mathono ko. So it is actually as a result of that court case.
Are you aware that Batoba ba kiwane teba kana batho ba khona go tla go bone e ba eta ba bontsha hela mo TV nya bone go tinge computer nya milina la go le teng madi a go ate hela ba tshwanetse ba duele batho ba ya ba throw from pillar to corner. Are you aware of that? Oh, I'm no gone ba leng teng ba teba ka kwana abate bate ko sinya ya lona kana lotile le ba bitse le tle go bua le bone ka dikgantsi.
We have met Teba in Botswana, we have met Teba in South Africa. We have compared the notes. We have compared the numbers, the identity, and everything else that has to do with people bani balekwa. ba o bona ba ra batho ba re o temone mo computer be re go mora go barela ke ba magozwana ba ba tshwanang le bale banthabane ha ile motho a teba sente yo eno re kopanetse di meetings tse ke di buantse here and in South Africa wa itse gore ile ha ke bua khantele kare yo bonang a bua dilotse a sa itse gore madi a tsewa ka tselentsia ile a tsewa go goma ke o batang go thukuta batho he. And we have made some identities gore batho ba identify ya mo batho ya no kana batho ha ba ira crime they sit down and try to keep on copying sel go la se dire. So rona re dirisa listi e re confirmileng rote re kopanye ka yone go ithala e gola re be re dirisa yone o gape e gola be re dirisa yone o gape me ye o yone ga ka kwa toga te mo computereng be re go tabe ke eta mo go toga e ga bona go nna yalo ke bo here
me go botlhokwa gore lo leke go ikopanya le ba ofisi ya molepolole ya tebe gore ke bua ka batho ba ba le mo di ofising tota kana gona le ba irang jalo ba ira bo here ile bone ba mekgatlonyana e re nya ba buelela wa bona ba o ke dumela gore ba kgona gore ba dire bo here but ba ko ofising ko teba ke mathata ko molepolole gore ga gona o di channel tsa go di translate and they are not even getting answers ha ba ile ko ne ko teba ko gore ba kgone go bona madi a bone go na le mathata ka so ne ke kopa gore yo a ke lo mmitse kana ofisi ya gago ke e ko mokwena e go tla gore tota ga te go diragala ofisi ya me tletse ka maina a batho ya la kana they are not getting any service mo teba so ke kopa gore gongwe ofisi ya go etlenetle ke ra gore yone le kgakololo ke heta ka yone ga nye ngwe ke le tsang gore na ke lemoga gore a ja ka lontse lo dira di inspection mo mahilong a harologanyeng lo re beile ka mosimba re ga o hile le ga borone nna ke bana go tsamayelwa kgakala ko botsa bombo kae bo not hela jalo but ba ba leng ga o hiela gone ha ga go nke be go iwa ko go bone se kai ko tamaga le ha le ga o rwana ka kwa utlwa go teleiba and I remember ke le ka go ba kopa gore ba ke tamaga ga na di business community pe kalo ena ya se kai le ko wa go ba etsa ka letsatsi yan ke batla go sala kganyentsi bua ke batlotlege morago ya di contract gore le bone gore a batho ba diretswe di contract bontsi wa bona ba bereka ya wa sena di contract and ka ha molaong ke tsa gore ga go a lebagana so na ke kopo ya me nka ikopang gore re se ka ra tswa mo gaborone thata re be re ya ko mahilong a mangwe re tlogela teng mo gaborone mo Tamaga molepolole ra motswa the surrounding areas re sa dire inspection ko go bona ya bo hela go na le kganya di public holidays molao a ile gore ga go a change o ke o itse go na le mo go teng ke paid public holidays and batho ba private sector ga nke ba amega mo malatsing se ka ira ke Ascension Day batho ba a ke na Ascension Day ane ke May Day e le gore batho ba private sector ga ba e duelelo batho ba private sector ga ba government has only recommended 8 paid public holidays to private sector. Why is it the holiday di tshwantse gore di harologangwe ka babereki ba puso le ba eseng ba puso?
Chair, first of all, let me say ke amogela dikgakololo and guidance in a bua ke Honorable Matausane mabapi le gore o ketere ba bile ka mosing, and I think my team is here. We'll also see how we factor you in. I know re bile ka mosing ha ngwe re ka siale report akile. But paid public holidays and unpaid public holidays, the difference here is that paid public holidays are gazetted. Gonna le morero gore go dumalanwe gore public holiday there's a committee that looks into this thing. Eke duelwang, eke sa duelwe. Me o ta tla representation ya go dira jalo ke ene boemedi ja bodire ja employers le boemedi ja union bo boikile ba khela mo dilong tsa mohuta one o go kgona gore public paid holiday e be se o gompieno mme ka mabaka a ka tanga bonwa ka nako ya holiday e diragala ya ka o to go ga ngo go twe ka gore go ne re tswa mo dithopo kana re lebile dithopo malatsi a o ka go thomagana a ta bua ile public holiday a gazette e be le gore a nna yalo e me go sa re gore go mo the beginning a nantsa le teng. So it's something that time and again go a lebelelo a bo go dumelana gore a ta jua bolenjo me ha ile gore gona le bangwe ba ere go iruela ga thaole a ta ba sa re gore e ke paid holiday ya government e ke paid e sa manele le ba bangwe ha e kwa le go ke paid public holiday e dirwa hela ka tsela ntseng ya lo e ta be di tema inwe jalo me kana bontsi bana go ta ithela le gore ke tse di tema inwang from the office of the president ka bogakolodi jo bo hilweng gore letsatsi le ka nna jalo yaanong mathata ke ha ke bona le mathata ke ha ile gore letsatsi le beilo ya lo batho ba sa duele o no o thusela ka go ha batho ba ntseng yalo ba te ba thalose gore ka gore paid public holiday ga se go to ke ga semama ke ya paid public holiday ya mereki mo le mo ha le nteng bone bo go tile jang dio tse dingwe go bua ba maruri di kgona gore heta re sa di bone me ha re di bone re tsa kgato.
Thank you very much. Mare ona re le ke a hello re mare
Nelu kanye ke batla gore in neatly according to it's when the khanza di holidays ke a itse gore government ha gona le about I think like 14 or 15 days one year government holidays I get your guy me ditama in that region ya 14-15 these holidays di teng ngwaga le ngwaga e seng yaka kore ne kuka o e tlhalosa e hiwi hela gongwe ke o sia gata utena ya ka seka ya re tswa mo ditlhopho go tela itapolo that I understand but gona le di public holidays tse they are gazetted they are there come what may ra itse gore di teng mme private sector yone ga e di duelele gona le tse gore mo go tsone out of the 15 actually 14 days or 15 days tse di tshwana tse bo president holiday bo engwe ke di medium marwanyana o ke gore go private go duelwa only up to 8 or 9 somewhere around there so
e go ta re kopanye le ba business Botswana re bone gore go gore work ha go to work ha go te worker yo berekang kwa ga honorable Lucas kana worker yo berekang go bokete ga betswe letsatsi le go teng this day is for the worker to be paid public go tsantse gore go duelwe ba re ga ke ka ganetsa ka gore motlo tege ka tswa le dilo tse leng gore o di bonye ya ka ke dilo tse mo di kgona go heta le thola rona mme go ta bo go sa tsamaye sente ka gore ga gona tse go teng tse ke tsa babereki ba governmente tse ke tsa babereki ba ga semama
I'm coming from a private sector. In construction, house at that you are not because Bakaskeba patelets, me house at that you are government you are not going to be paid for that. But that list
no, thank you.
Ha go ngwa kere ba bangwe ba dira hela ka go le talela lona ba itse gore le ha o ka dira hala jalo ba se ba duela batho ha batho etse ba ba bata recourse gongwe ba ka se ba e bona ka pele so ba bangwe ba dira hela ka gone bo goma jone jo ja gore motho yana e ka bo ene hela o batla go godisa di profit mme ne kere a kere ngwaga le ngwaga go nna le bokopano je le khota le seka-sekang minimum wage
minimum wage board at the end.
Video go ke minimum wage board. E kopana leng kana ene.
E kopana I can't say the exact date but e kopana a period between the time when nako ya go prepare the budget is simologa.
I hate to pronounce it ngwaga.
Nya ngo ga ise pronounce.
I kere yone mme e tshwanetse re pronounce.
Ka gore boko para ba teng tota ha utwa kiriana. ha ile gore ra bokopano ja ke gore gona le bokopano jo ba simololang gore simola go rera morero wa go lebelela itsholelo leng gore tsamaya e be re go tswa ha quarterly because they observe ba observe the economic the trends gore di tsamaya ja gore ba kgone go gakolola minister
me kere a kere wa re ngwaga o na ise ba kopane
na go gona ga ba ise ba kopane
ga ba ise ba kopane mme ha re lente minimum wage no re tsamaya 1.5
the last minimum wage ha ke gakologa sent ke 1,500
go di a ngwe go ka nna ga harologanya ka di sector mme hela on average is 1.5 nko mpolele body ha e kopana e seta minimum wage a yete le cost of living a mme le gone gape body yone ha e kopana a yete we na le in mind the country decent work program a kere do di pedikitseng gore a mme body yete le cost of living kgotsa e pharega number a hela gore ke 1.5 a yete le gape a country decent work program hela o ska wa o tshwara kwa o itebaganya le yone
ya ke tlo papa mala hala ka ntse ke papa mala
ha ngo o thalosa thata
nya ke ta thalosa go se ka nyana what is happening ke gore tota go na le di parameters tse ba di dirisa the economic indexes tse dingwe go na le di fiscal documentation tse di tswang ko finance. They also get some documents I might not be very conversant or individual women, but these are the indexes that the dynamics of the economy, the living, ya batho gore ha ba di dirisa ba dira formula ba ira graph di ba supensa gore on average re kare tota selekanyo sa madi aka bewang as minimum se ka tsama ha kae.
Are you saying they look at cost of living as well?
Yes, they do mo e leng gore ha re setse ya go kopana le ko minister we sit down ba ntsha di factor di indices tse ba di dirisa ba supa the trends tse di tsenyang accommodate the prices tsa di commodities le di prices tsa bo di base le di kombi the prices tsa anything else that will affect botshelo ja motho.
Yeah, a ke dumalane le wena gore ba ite ba le cost of living a re dumalane gore a re dumalane ka gore wena o itse nna le wena ra itse gore ha e le gore minimum wage ka nna 1.5 wa itse gore madia ke accommodation hela so ha o ka kwa ntare ba lebelela cost of living ha e le gore ba ka re minimum wage ke 1.5 a re dumalane gore ga ba lebelele cost of living
yeah na
because ha e le gore ba e leba okay
ka dumelana le wena ka se ke nna ke se itseng ke gore go na le determination ya gore body ya ka entse e gakolola tona gore kana re lebile dio tse le yana mme rona ka tebo a matho ya rona the highest could be this, the medium can be this, the lowest can be this. We think it will be much safer gore operate leya mme kana ka processing ka teng ke dio tsa go gakolola gape le go leba gore can it be affordable. Me out of those consultations go bo go diragala gore minister a ba re ke lutule ba gaetsho na mme ke tare ha re lebile seemo sa economy and other things re ka swelaga
account office
se
re tsela mo Botswana mo bona re tsela mo Botswana le rona re tsela mo ge ga gona gore o ka re o leba cost of living mo ga boroni go phikwa go tsa go Francistown o bo re minimum wage ka nna 1.5 o ntse o itse gore 1.5 mo ga boroni e cost en 1.5 hantse gona le transport hantse gona le dijo batho ba ga ba lebelele cost of living me le gale ka gore wena wa re ba e lebelela and I want to put it to you gore a gona nako e pe ba ite ba e lebelele bone ba lebelela hela gore mmidi kompone a re ka di attracta ka wage e kae re ka di attracta ka wage e kae gore ite mo Botswana gore di kgone go survive di kompone ga ba lebe cost of living ba lebelela botshelo ja di kompone gore di ka survive ya mme le gale a kere a go patalese gore dumalane mme hela itse gore cost of living yone ga ba e lebelele jaanong mma ke tsenea decent country decent work program can it really endorse a minimum wage this low ha e le gore decent work e ra o duelwa sente gore to kgone go manage botshelo ja gago at a minimal level
ke gore kana go ke beya decent work is a phenomenon e tileng morago ga go nna go ntse go lebiwa gore tota dituelo tse dingwe ga se tsone sente. But your question is, I recommend. Decent work will recommend something that ties.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
decent work will recommend something that ties to the living wage. If it's something that is outside there, it cannot recommend that.
Yeah. 1.5 as minimum wage, like another 2,000. Haka ke atsamelana le go tsholosa seriti sa motho o bereka 1.5. Haka ke go tele. Me legale kana re sa tswa go change puso e sa tswa go change. Me puso e tseneng e dumela mo selong ga te living wage. Ha re bua ba bua last year ne ba bua living wage e ile 4,000. Me ke tsa gore o mogakolodi wa minister ga o mogakolodi wa board wa minimum wage board o mogakolodi wa puso mo go tsa pereko a kere ha re ya ko boarding e latela wena le minister le ikalla go dira eng go supegisa batho ba seta minimum wage gore tota mme 1.5 o ko tase 2,000 o ko tase 2.5 o ko tase 3,000 o ko le ikalla go dira le to guide yang a le to guide le lebile 4,000 kgotsa le to guide ha le re nya mme le ka dira se le bona se tshwanetse ha le ke 1.8 in 1.8 because we have had a change and now to me this change must mean real change me ano lo na ba gakolodi le tshwanetse bolle in the mix in terms of trying to advise on these matters.
Sir, the political leadership has given direction, and that direction must be followed. What we are advising is how to implement it and consideration of factors. That minimum has been set.
No, this is the living wage. And they propose you get the government in power as we speak. Yanokare, hali hetile hakolola. Yone body yone. Agerele tayo hakolola libile hore. Mi puso elente humpiene yone. Ilibile kai. Ili living wage.
Exactly.
Le tayo hakolola.
Le tayo hakolola ja.
Solo heller le committee hore humwe. Humpiene hore tayo na parloga mietona. Ha hetile hore sana mo sete minimum wage. Parloganyo e tsamaelang o re la sa gore ko 4,000 me e tsamaele 4,000 yo neng a buega ile ene a living wage
la go bona in fact as you may be aware honorable the companies that when set the similar sum of 4,000.
No, I'm not into those companies.
No, it's okay, I was just sharing.
No this o share le sexa o share sexa sukopa. Hi, I'm not about the Moko Hamala.
Thank you, sir.
Now, the companies that volunteer, or what into the exploit of the Rick. Yano Baboni Sabaga, Marie to Mercy Pusuetana. Give out the Mokumola minimum wage or Kai Cycle or Halin Tuela less than 3.5 line exploiter, Molawaria. So that will really be the right. The Katsuro Hello Hakamata, or by very Kibal Haslaptana, or Simula Kazati pronounce your minimum wage, but over Balimumula knew 4,000. Sta wor libile ja migere utule ma parliament ba wona ba le mogale thata tsa je o ba utula akere mogale jo ga se ja mahala le bone ba kokonelwa go ba leng teng ka gore batho ba bua gore lona kwa la amogela ko rona le re beile hela ha ke rona re le tsenyang diranse le se solo heditseng ma parliament ba bua yana ka gore ba balelwa ba tswana le bone ko nte ba balelwa urutule kantse tsa bo go duela batho ka kontraka ya kgwedi le kgwedi ke dumela gore mo nako e khutshwane di tabo di setse di heletse tabo di seyo under your leadership and under the stewardship of the new minister tsa go duela motho kontraka ya kgwedi le kgwedi re dumela gore tabo di seyo. This casualization of labor must come to an end under your leadership.
I agree, sir. You come to an end.
Har ko panele hela ha gore re batla go ona ra fixture ya gore kana PAC tse rona le committee re le mogone ha o bona re re nyame e tare di kgaolo di re batla go borle re batla gore tse re di buanga re bone go nna le parlogane inspectorate e pan target ya 2,000 e be lo re le kgona go etela mahelo le 200 hell that's not sufficient, that's not adequate. Le tshwanetse la nna visible, la bonwa ko dipolaseng, la bonwa mo dishopong, la bonwa in construction sites. A se ke re wena ka re lona ofisi ya lona e tshwanetse ya bona, mme ra buile ke tsaya gore ga tlo ra buile go heta re ka tsena mo dibukeng. Honorable Lesedi o hantsa le teng ile ka bona o teng. Honorable Lesedi a re tsene mo go memorandum of progress.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ke mo tile ra so di tlhalositse re ta bona phetogo.
Ke dumela gore ha re ka tshwara lebelo le ke teng ke le ke go tsamaya ka lona. Re bore ka itirela justice, Mr. Chairman.
Le ke no ska wa
Are go page 3, Mr. Chairman, under memorandum of progress. Kore di mogo hela gone ra go direla tshotela gone. Me mare go page 3. Re tswale, Mr. Chairman. O setse ko morago, Honorable Mabel. Hanana. Oh yeah, share. Area go page 4. Renale case ki Mr. Chairman e ke paletsweng ke gore ke ka re tswale kana ja ka gore case e ke ya 2013 October e sa suping mo di notes kana mo di comments tsa bona gore how much was the impressed, only to find the figure hela ka ba tia ga ba elaborate bo bare terminal benefits were submitted to Accountant General pension on the 21st November 2023. Ga ke itse gore go lo mo go rae, Mr. Chairman, ka gore a kere ba tshwantse gore ba supe gore jaanong ga go submitilwe to Accountant General. So what is happening? Gape le gone ba bua ka pension e re dumelang gore ba tshwantse gore ba elaborate kana a kere go tile ga ke ga tsewa mo pension go kampa ga tsewa mo leave paying or something. Ke tsa gore gongwe accounting officer is chief accountant is
The chief accountant would like to take that.
hey I it says ke ne ke re ke paletse ke go tswala kgannye kana go e togela ke ile ga kae but ke lebile bogologolo ja 2013 le kwadile ha gore o resign na le di outstanding impressed ka re gala supa gore it was how much konteng ya ga gore ne ke bona mo figareng e ka jaanong mo godimo ga mo le kwadile gore terminal benefits were submitted to Accountant General bill pension on 21st November 2023 bele ya mahela go no ho ha ke itse gore go taba go iragala
impress in on 6.965. So terminal benefits are decided to look at Accountant General ke re supile ka November 2023. Be di busiwa go te ga go heletswa process because so na le training bond ba ile mo gileng. Be busetso ko department teng. Go to go tsengwa training bond mo terminal benefits tsa gago. Go gora gore be re tsalo ba ka re le minister gore re gateng re bone gone gore tota training bond e ka ga mang ka re ne seo ga isa isu sekolo ke minister so re tsere le ba ka go bata go tlhaloganya gore training bond ke ya go kae re tswa go le mo ga hela ka bo December 24 ngwaga December 2024 gore training bond ke ya editef gore re ne le ngwana wa sekolo na iswe ke editef go gora ra ibusetse go bona gape re ibusetse go Accountant General gore re tsentse yone training bond e be boela gape e boela go gore na go tenya mme gape go na le salary in lieu of notice e busetse go ministereng gape so re busitse last year September 24 re tsenya no salary in lieu of notice gore rena sa tsaba notice just ra capture information tsenke le nela
e botlhokwa thata gore re tlhaloganye gore ke eng se mo se
no go botlhokwa ya ka chairman a bua because kana ke yone ka elang komite gore jaanong re dirang re le committee mo caseng e tshwana le but remember this case is too old Can I say about 12 years?
It still has a balance, so it's a memo.
It's a memo? Okay.
Yes, it's a memo.
All right.
Page 5. Leone hela yalo haba ko di commenting tsa bona ba supa gore this issue kana this case is recommended for write off. Ha gona write off letter. Total evidence that is Tyler Milone it's too old ka re ke September 2011. Go re kra gore Mr Chairman kana dilo tse di a re thusa mo gore re kgone go itse gore committee tsa tshwetseng tsenjang ya no a ile gore go togetswe ya la go ntse ana ha o ya ko B annexure ba ya touchitseng wa go bona di figure ra hela tsa balance ene ya 7.5 for it clear but otherwise lekwalo la right off ga leo. Me at the end of the day Mr Chairman ke dumela gore re leona ra go etogela ele memo.
Thank you very much.
Ha ke tsela ga nka ga kollo ka gore
Accountant General, Technical Advisor, you...
No, they still have balances that. Get him memo.
Memo. Thank you very much.
Hare go page 6, Mr. Chairman, are to memo. Page 7, dealt with. Page 7 is dealt with. Page 8. Here, Udimoya number 1. Let's close it. Kahore it transfers it to other ministry. Leokota se aretswale chairman. Page 9. Retswaleko Udimo. Kanakyo nechwanka kwele. But otherwise, Ekota's table is dealt with. Ha, page number 11, let 12.
Sorry, Chair.
Oh.
Moko page 8 there, how would you? Harry to Dumelane Bonite balance here 10,000 to work collective.
Eko Udimo.
Erra, Yaka Silemoko Cabello edu. Yoneki memo in a hela who Lika Talusa rates money actions who refund you.
Nya ko re nna ke tsa ora ke rantsa ngwa le bua ke khana go khupa kana ne le re tse di transfer from ministry no ta re bua ka ono to other minister ra di tsala ko ministry ngo. So I don't know or this explanation in togala ke le under confusion.
In any case, Chair, the adjustment has, if I recall, the adjustment has been made.
Evidence here transfer.
Yes, it's written what I refund you, but it's gone to another ministry.
Harabona evidence here transfer to the other ministry.
Ayo.
I agree we are together, Chief Accountant. Hey. Hora ra ntse jalo do la hale transfer le harna evidence hora gore ra go togela le memo.
Error. It's okay.
Thank you, Accountant General. Page 10, Nekesan Zikir number 11 le 12 get dealt with. Ekota se Zedikota Sitsi no. A number 19, Retogela ele memo. Le latela Retogela ele memo ga reduce after cut off date. Then page 11, table Ekota se dealt with. Page 12 dealt with. Page 13 dealt with. 14 dealt with. 15 table Eko dealt with. Then Eko Taseke memo. Page 16 dealt with. 17 dealt with. 18 dealt with. 19 dealt with. 20 dealt with. 21 dealt with. 22 dealt with. 23 dealt with. 24 dealt with. 25 dealt with. 26 dealt with, 27 dealt with, 28 dealt with, 29 page, Mr. Chairman. Number 2, let's monitor it. Number 4 dealt with. Ekutase, number 6, monitor. Page 29, Madam Advisor. Keep memo.
Well done.
29. Yeah, 2029. I'll also list. No, I read 29 of here. Nigger number 2. Yes, skills development.
Okay. Kitty monitor. If statement 22 is more. Okay. Monitor.
Page 30, Eko Hodimo, we monitor. Then the rest dealt with. 31 dealt with. Mr. Chairman, page memorandum of progress. Rehitsan Ayhonia. The signature the accounting officer. Mr. Rule Jimmy Pilo. Yanora Koya response to Auditor General's report. Page 4, Mr. Chairman, Yanta, number 1, we close. Number 2, we monitor. Number 3, we close. Number 4, we close. Number 5, we monitor for page 5. Page 6, we monitor the whole page.
So, memo now. Memo.
Ma?
Memo.
Or statement number 2.
Statement 1. Remove statement 1. Yeah. So this thing's it's
Each
closed
page,
and memo.
correct.
4 and 5. More page 4 and 5 is it's memo and close.
It's memo.
Or close.
Page 8. Monitor. So let's do the memo. Okay, page 4, page 5. Then page 6, Mr. Chairman. We monitor. Page 7, we monitor. Page 8, we monitor. Page 9, we monitor. Page 10, monitor. Page 11, page 12, we also monitor, Mr. Chairman. Page 13, monitor. 14, monitor. 15, monitor. 16, monitor. 17, monitor. 18, monitor. 19, monitor. 20, we monitor. Record statement number 14 under page 21. Monitor demo, Mr. Chairman, number 1. Number 2, we close. Number 3, we monitor. Number 4, we close. Number 5, number 6, we close. Number 7, we monitor. Number 8, number 9, we close. Number 10, we monitor. Number 11, we monitor.
Chef, we can go.
Hey, see, how do you know?
Page 22.
Remote page 22. Lin Charles, corne ki dumela gore go ngware setse re kile ra nna radio komela. Remote page 23. The first one, number 11, let's monitor it. Number 12, close. Number 13, close. Number 14, monitor. Next page, number Echo Dim, the first one. Are monitoring because it seems it's after cut-off date. Your name, Labu Bidiar, the monitoring, then Yaboraru, we close. Ariako page 25, Eko Dimoyo, let's monitor it. Eko Tasia gratuities payments, we close. Area mo page 26, we close. Eko Dimo, Eko Tasu, we monitor. Page 27, Eko Dimo, we close. Eko Tasu, we monitor. Hariako page 28. ha ke ta supa gore this one ya ga Thabologo Mr. Tatayoti ke na le problem ya gore officer o resign ka 2013 ene mmele gone jana ga go very clear ka gore after 2013 to 2023 10 years since we work a follow-up letter to AG were done on the 7th March 2024 and 2nd December 2024. Ga ke itse gore chief accountant how can I explain now to the committee because tota ngwe di case tse dingwe re tlhoka go itse status tsa sone ka gore di dikgologolo a ngwe le toga le re tsietsa ka bosekgwa sa bo prescription and prescribed and tsone dilo tsa go tshwana tseo so a le re bolelela gore ga go tsaya nako e kana-kana ka case tota yala mme gone bothata ya beileng.
Through you, Chair. Like I had said earlier on, if you have a situation, for instance, the function, the transfer, maybe in 5 years, something like that. I understand what you mean. But what I tell you, regular trace, VTC, by a month, and transfer your function. Trace. But I think what we need to do now, I think we should continue really. But it's taken too long from 2013 up to now. And I give skills under this back and forth thing. But I understand what you're saying.
AG, comment.
From our records, also July 2023. So I think if members can remember last week, I mentioned the interruption of prescription or part payment. So if he part paid, we start counting again the 3 years. So for now, we are still within the 3 years. From the file also, we issued summons. He didn't enter appearance, so we were looking to apply for final judgment. Because we requested for information, resign under affidavit for the final judgment from the client, and we still haven't received it. So maybe somewhere we are lost in translation. So, yeah.
No, but on the last one, client hasn't come to assist with a signature to bring the matter to rest.
When you make an application for final judgment, you need someone with knowledge of the matter. In this case, would be someone from the client ministry. And then you do the application, and then you send it back to them to sign before you file it before court. So we haven't gotten that name to enable the signature.
Accounting officer, can you kindly respond to what AG is saying on the Thabologo matter and that of Mtsimanyana?
I think she's not asking a question if I follow what she's saying.
She's saying she's waiting for your signature. I'm not specifically talking to you. I'm talking to you as the accounting officer, and you are the client. So she's awaiting you for your signature.
No, it could have been an omission. My signature is not that complicated. It should have been an omission, yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think maybe because of the rationalization of ministries, maybe but from the file, that is what we are waiting for. So maybe we should do a follow-up.
Or even Mokwalo, I I really can't remember, and I'm not blaming her for that. In the process, normally there's a follow-up. So if that's all that is needed, I'm in a position to provide that. I'm sorry that it hasn't happened before we come here.
But also another thing, I think this one we are going to have to reissue summons because summons expires after 6 months. So from 2023 to now, similar processes.
No, let's continue, Mr. Chairman.
But clearly, when you look at these matters, there is really no coordination or no alignment between ministries and AG in terms of debt collection. Surely there is no connection whatsoever. I think that's a matter that we should canvass, not maybe now, but generally to improve that link. It's not there. Thank you very much.
The one summons was freshly issued in November last year. We have a problem with locating him for service.
No, Mr. Chairman, they will rectify. Thank you. Arengo page, no, you need to monitor. Arengo page 29. Also, Leoneke monitor. It's only that this one eko hodima hajara maya badubi. Okay. Ardumela hore. Eko hodima ya ha badu Jeremiah Mr. Badubi, Reginald. Yes. Korlona ngwale kwala chief accountant. Okare le khana ka di comments. Because kala provider busupi jo buka bombo le kanye khone ha bogolo jang when it comes to years literally the officer was dismissed from the public service bilesa tsenya gore which year was that because re ka be re bona bogologolo ja ene a le rogela go re le botsa gore ke a ngwaga ma me dilo tse le tshwantse gore le di provider so that harnal di potso re di botsa re tlhaloganya gore ke which year.
If you have like response you communicated with the Attorney General. You should show that communication.
Understatement 15. Ar speng gore ke di memo ra re togela le memo. The whole page of 29, 20, page 30. Eko godimo yo we close it. Ha ke tsela ga le gore Accountant General. Baka thusa jang ka gore kana e gongwe ke yone ya bo gaps ya bo system error or technical error ha ke tsora wa bona ya annex Z
really but chair we bona ile for we thought maybe gongwe re ka close ka gore ka ha ba ikwadileng ka teng ga ke sure sente gore a mo listing ya di error tse re ne re di bua re tla checka me I thought 4 pula is within the range ya gore re ka etswa.
Accountant General Oscar togela re sa go utwa kana how you think or togala re sa wele kana rona re le committee thaloganya gore ko yana o ka re thusang gore ra tswala or not but I get me wa itse gore re tswala in terms of less than pula less not for pula gore you think I couldn't very clear accountants what out this.
No, I just want the chief accountant to talk to it and maybe it can help us.
Yes, sir.
Making decisions.
She can do that.
The figures for Pula. Kidi anomaly re di dirile mo systeming re ba ka ntse ka di adjustment e just a la ga update monthly subledger so ke dio tse di ka kgonang go update wa hela sente hela ke gaps re bua le bona gore nya tse ga di update ga re dirile di adjustment tse di tlhokagalang le ga di update So ke tsa gore la ha ka monitor wa kana expenditure. The problem is ha ke ga tloiswa because mo systeming hala yone ga ya clearega. So ha ke ka ra e tswala. Ke tswa ke a utlwala.
Let's leave it as memo.
Error.
Are nkore yo kotase mo page 30. Re togelele kana ke one e tswelelang ka go the next page. Are monitoring. Then we are moving to page. Get the memo. A memo. I show. Ma? Here must statement 50.
22. Oh, okay. For our 22, really monitor. If it's statement 22, we monitor.
Oh, it's 15. It's until 15.
It's 15. Yes. Oh, okay.
Give memo.
Okay. Okay.
Page 32. Also, Leone, give memo. Page 33. Give memo. Eko Rodimo. Eko Tasis memo. Page 34. Let's memo the whole page. Page 35. Memo, but the question here is memo number 5, Makwemba Akany. KCA Kia 2016. Tota hela is ke kanya go zebileng ke kanya ya dingwaga. The case is taking too long. But otherwise, it's memo ka gore ke bona right of granted on 24th July 2024. Tata in some next session. Area ko page 36. Eko godimo let's memo it. Let's memo it. Leko tase let's memo it. Meko tase explanation it's shorter because le buile gore go commence ka di 2 March 2020 adjustment to reverse the payment was done on the 11th February 2021. Jaanong go bo go sala hela go ntse yana kana gore re yana ga go sena sepe more than this re togela ile memo but bona gore re bua ka di tsa 21 gore be se ka 21. Page 36. Are go page 37 memo.
We the last part of the last part, the comments. We requested write-up from the then PS. Follow-up on the matter was made on 18th March. What are we following up on?
Director of Finance, can you help? Officer passed on. You are doing follow-ups.
If it's within threshold PS to write off, then we are saying we've requested to write off when we are following up. So what are we following up on?
Follow up write off.
You are following up on your PS. You are following up on your PS to write off, because we understand this is within his threshold to write off.
Kana go ga kana ke re bua ka ministry o setso mo o swetswa ke re wa Melstaker jaanong go na le department e re dirang le one ke ya skills e ko education go gompienang last financial year ne le mo skills and what education and skills development jaanong gompieno after restructuring gape e ntshitswe gape mo higher education. So go
le follow go higher education.
Re follow go higher education.
I think that's understandable then. I get go ha ngwe ano information you re bolela how e kwaleha. So rona it aretse but I think it's understandable.
Memo, page 37, page 38, memo. Page 39. Here, this case here, number 13, said, case kana libuaka the officer resigned in 2015. He had an overpayment of 12,000 and 2,000 was paid. Further assessment was done at 23 and was found that he was capable of servicing his debt. Jano, like it's Libua Casey Equa Attorney General, Leheletse Helamotzile, accounting officer and Kerar Hala Super Huira Halanga case, a status a case of an. Otherwise,
cases, a lot of them, you need to, a lot of the Attorney General, you need to really follow up with the appropriate results on the Attorney General so we know the way forward. Quite a lot of them.
May a lot of tables up this page, so tell 2015, 2014, 2013. It is a whole my long for it. I will tell us for it. Otherwise, the whole page of 39 is memo. Page 40 is memo. Oh, I remember number 18. Accountant General. I go to some more case in number 18. Sheletse Motlamedi. Had initially requested Accountant General to transfer case to then Mote. This matter will be addressed under the Ministry of Higher Education. Is it a transfer of case?
Mokuyeche Hava touches particularly who check a Harabona request in a district of room.
Yeah, on page 40, memo. Page 41. Number 1920, memo. Number 21, let's close it. Arengo page 42, memo. Unless
21, I think it's a memo.
Code 21 is memo.
Number 21, page 41.
Page 41, thank you for that correction. 41, article and the whole page memo. 42, memo. 43, memo. Number 27,
You must reconcile your opening balance with ASA. Your opening balance, so we reconcile us. Page 43, the opening balance, the net total, I reconcile that with ASA.
Emma.
We close number 1, not select. Then the rest are memos. Page 45, memo. Sorry. Negere ko page 44. Re tswale ko godimo ya number 1. Tse pedi tse ya number 2 le 3 re di togelele di memo. Number
45 re simolla monitor.
45 I go bona gore this case officer out dismissed ka April 2014. Otherwise we monitor gore ke batla go supa bogologolo ja di case tsela. Hare ya ko page 46 we monitor leone 2014 2015 wa bona gore di kgologolo ya. We monitor the page 46, page 47 we monitor, 48 we also monitor, page 49 we monitor, page 50 we monitor. I get number 1. Explanation have an evidence right of requested from Minister of Higher Education. Disciplinary hearing was not done after the officer seek legal opinion. I want to say attachment. It kanyela tse di tsere mat a kre dikwalo tse mme go gongwe go botlhokwa gore re refa be re di bona. Otherwise is monitor. Page 51 we monitor. Page 52 we monitor. Page 53 we monitor. Page 54, which is the last page, Mr. Chairman, we also monitor.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Sedi. It was a long day, very long day indeed. Make it sagore na kuere tsereng ha. E tshwanetse gore e telega maduo. Telega maduo di khanzer di buileng tsa tsene. Accounting officer ke tsa gore tsote o di notile a go ngwe parliament ya na tsa manna bogale bana le tshwanelo ya go nna bogale a re libile di khantse di tshwenyang batho ba bo Somalia le mahelo a mangwe ne ba tshwantse gore ba nne bogale tota mme bogale jo kana boka hokotsega ha seemo se ka tokagala boka hokotsega ha seemo se ka tokagala ka gore ba bereki ba le hatsela go tshwana rra bontsi ja bone ba tshelela mo tshotego e ya gamatsang tshotego ya dituelo tshotego ya mabaka a tiro yana go ne mo gora gore ema ka dinao raitso ema ka dinao e bile gape o eme ka dinao jalo o rotwediwa ke gore ele ena tautona o bua ka gore ba bereki ba na di tshwanelo di tshwanetse go di sirelediwe jaanong le rona re le hano ra dumalana gore ba bereki ba na di tshwanelo tse di tshwanetseng di sirelediwe go na le ba bereki ba ba sotegang go gaisa ba bereki ba bangwe ka mabaka a di-condition tsa bone tsa pereko ba ntse ba go bala ba bereki ba go dipolase ba bereki bone ba janala le bone ba bereki ba di-shopo ba construction bahiri ba hetse ba talela yala tse dingwe ba di itirela yala le di-holiday gangwe ba gane go di duela bahiri ba hetse ba dira dikganyala tse e le gore ga gongwe motho o hirwa ka kontraka ya kgwedi le kgwedi for 3, 4, 5 years ra dikgang tse ke tse re ka tshelang ka tsone re di lebile hela mme rona e re na le mabaka a tiro hela a itumedisang. I think re tshwanetse go move and move very aggressively accounting officer go leka go bepisa seemo sa tshotego e kana-kana e babereki ba lehatshe la Botswana. Tswala yana ke re le ha dikgang ne di le bokete jalo re itumelela gore malatsi a mabedi wa tsile kwane o ta wa thomagantse ga o lebege o na le bothata ja go kopana le rona. That is very good. Ke gore go kopana ga rona se go kopana ga gore tuo manya ope go kopana ga rona ke go baakanya seemo go baakanya lehatshe go tsenya seemo mo taolong ke gore ga go itela diemo tsa teng di dule mo taolong go thelela yaanong ke re raitso le team ya gago commissioner ke mang ke batla go bona motho go teng commissioner ko wena to hal ke batla go itse hela gore gape maemo a go a matona mme ga ngwe ga re a file sentle go dikgaolong batla go itse leina la gago commissioner go twa wena maitso re batla go fila ko dikgaolong re batla go fila ko di-officing tsa gago kore ga go le mapalamente a bangwe a ka go bolelela gore le babereki ba gago ga go le mapalamente a tsamaya le lekgotla meeting ga ngwe a re ba bone babereki ba gago rotloetsa thata gore seemo se sa babereki ba gago le bone ba dira di-inspection kgapetsa-kgapetsa go itsa tshotego e kana-kana ya babereki ke ra go ne le nna hela ke batla go bona gore ke itse gore tiro yone mme ke a e galala o ka e ga e wele sentle commissioner maemo a go a matona tota ke a leboga motswetso no re leina ke mang
ke bidwa Veronica Moloko ke bereka ke le deputy commissioner of labor currently acting as commissioner of labor
nya me mamoloko ra leboga re leboga go menagane ra leboga re lebogile ne ke re mme thata lekwalo ga le goroge kana a ngwe le kgona go kwala go le helela gone matafone le sa goroge a le goroge maabane go tilo o bua go tsa ka Korea gore go na le bo Korea a le goroge ka Korea lekwalo batho ba thusege in actual fact lekwalo le hale ka goroga sente la bala tselwa kgato le go change matshelo a batho ba bantsi ba bantseng ba sotega ka kgantse tsa boagedi tsa citizenship. Thank you very much. Lebogile batho betso re lebogile mapalamente okay a gona ba le
ke batla go leboga chair. And now I take it for tota. Yes, there could be some emotions in this thing, but we mean it for the betterment of the country.
Yes, sir.
But I think what is really most important, get the understanding ya gore it doesn't mean gore gona le ba dilo tse ba di rotloetsang ba sa feel sepe ka tsone. The situation is the way it is, but we must come out of it. We all have to do it collectively. And there is ya gore gongwe re le ministry re lathella dilo kana ga re batle go di dira. We agree some of the things that have been there for a long time, but we are here now, and they've got to be done. With your guidance, I mean, the honorables, they've given very good guidance, and we can do it, without, we can do it.
You have our support.
Thank you so much.
You have our support. Me hausa diri, we will not hesitate to take you on. Thank you very much. Reke, Rabuile, honorable